And see if we're live or
You're
not.
live. You're live.
Okay. Uh, 187.
Did it at a 187. Apparently, Goat is max headroom now.
Sorry, I just woke up. Like I said, and got thrown a whole bunch of information, and I have a bunch of people yelling and screaming outside of my curtain.
Yes, we hear
So
that.
yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of it. So we're off today. So 187
Yes,
is where
and
we're at,
That
we're
is
we're
right.
live, by the way.
and we are live. Okay, so we're just gonna roll through this, smooth as butter. Nobody's even noticed. This is Gamerhead Radio. I'm the goat.
He's so tired he can
If
barely remember his name.
Goat just woke up, like he woke up when we were kind of supposed to be on the air and was like, "Oh fuck, I'm supposed to be on the show." So
Yeah,
if Goat sounds a little sleepy, it's because he's a
I'll get it.
sleepyhead.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. I've been up for we're up to about 2 minutes now. So
Amazing.
Well, I am Charlie Technotronic Worthly.
And I am Jonathan Santiago, aka Fallon Neckbeard fucking Flynn.
You do have something of a neck
I
beard
have a
going.
neck beard today. We'll get into it coming up, but with what we did with our week. But I'm on vacation, technically, staycation we'll call it.
That is very exciting. I'm very happy that you finally got to have one of those.
Yeah. Well,
must be nice.
for what it's been, it hasn't really been what I hoped, but we'll talk about that later. Goat, since you're out and about on the road, why don't you tell us about your road pirate ultra warrior adventures out there?
Well, today we did Sonic Boom, which is a festival. It's in where the hell are we? Wisconsin, somewhere,
Oh,
somewhere
right
in
around the
Wisconsin.
corner.
Yeah,
Janesville, I think I
Janesville.
saw.
Janesville. That's
Oh
yeah.
shit,
I'm
so
like
you're like an hour and a half
yeah,
from here.
yeah. I'm almost home, but nowhere near it. It's kind of a mind fuck. Um, so we had an early day today, so it worked out like we're going to be on the show today, which was awesome. As before, I missed last week. We all did, but I was working. But it's been all right. It's been fun. Just did the machine shop last night, and that is like the holy grail of metal. So
That is a cool
that
fucking room, always.
yeah, had to get a shirt and t-shirt and sweatshirt and all that shit. Got to get my gear down. So other than that, I think the most exciting thing we've had is our merch guy got really drunk and peed in our front of house's bunk.
Excellent. Sounds like a so far very successful tour. I'm talking about
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff because people don't realize there's a show that goes on behind the show, and that
Oh
show can
yeah.
be just as entertaining as the one that hits the stage, sometimes more depending on who you're on the road with. So,
Yep.
good.
It's a circus within a circus.
Yeah, sounds like it. Charlie, what about you? How was your week, man?
I feel like touring, like going on a tour, is just like a con in a different format in some weird ways. Because
It's
It,
what
it
unfortunately it's the
is.
same. It's the same people though. It's the same talent for the entire 2 months of con, as you put it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so and nothing really out of the ordinary on my side of things. We're less than a month away from Ciderfest now, so we're really in that home stretch of just getting stuff done. Of everything that needs to be done pre-con. The schedule is now completely up. All 100 plus panels and events and everything
Good God.
are all up on our website. I need to kind of pat myself on the back here just a little bit, which I don't do too often, but I'm going to do it now. Is I'm just really proud of our website this year. I went to the extent of every single, obviously all of our guests of honor and our musicians and our community guests all have profiles and everything on our website, but I went to the extent of giving every single one of our panelists a little profile on our website, and each panelist profile has a little mini schedule of that particular panelist events over the weekend. And so you can really see from like many different angles, like if there's a specific person you want to see, all the events that they're currently signed up to be hosting. And I can't say it's the best con website in the world. I can't say that I'm sure we're not the first con website of a con of this size to ever do that, but it's the first one that I've seen anyways. And so I'm just really proud of it. A
Excellent.
lot of extra effort on me and my web team's part. So
You're right. It's not very often that you toot your own horn. So good. You deserve recognition for your hard work, Charlie.
yay.
Or maybe we
Yeah,
should say
it's
toot his own beard. That sounds better.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's married, so he probably shouldn't be tooting his horn as much as he needs to. I mean, it's like kind of a single guy thing, isn't it?
Not in the slightest, Goat, but that's something
No.
completely different.
Oh, sorry, wrong
It's
horn.
like it's like almost 80 different profiles up on the website between panelists and guests and everybody. And so yeah,
Wow.
it was a
Jesus
lot of
Christ.
work, but yeah, it's yeah, I keep on saying it, but Cyberfest is gonna be bigger and in every way and better than previous years. And so, well, we've got John Delancey, so there's that. So that's very exciting.
Mhm.
Which
That'll work out.
which by the way, we added a special event called actually I'm going to pull this up. I want to make sure I get this right. John Delancey, you may or may not know, is actually a big poetry buff, and one of the things that which he's into theater a lot, and so I guess that's not that far of a stretch to believe. But one of the things that he offers at certain conventions is to have a ticketed event where he reads one or more selections of poetry. And so we opted to add one of those to our schedule. And the event is called An Intimate Evening of Dramatic Readings, Playful Discussions, and Other Chaotic Surprises with John Delancey. And at his request, this is an 18 plus event. So let your mind
Charlie
wander. Fortunately, I do not have to. Being one of the guys that runs the thing, that's one of the side perks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Charlie put a alarm on 16 times so he doesn't miss this event.
Yes, that. So yeah, just kind of let your mind wander a bit at what an 18 plus event with John Delancey might be like. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Much like most of the erotic fan fiction panels I've seen with Mr. Agitator.
Oh God, I don't think it'll be quite that lewd, but you never know.
We can hope.
We can hope. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time. So that's me, and so John, over to you. How was your last full 2 weeks been?
It's been. So I'm on vacation, and the short version of this for everybody is that I don't take vacations. The last time I took a vacation that was actually a vacation for the purpose of taking a vacation was 3 years ago. I went to Deadwood, North Dakota, and the Black Hills of North Dakota with my parents actually, and spent a week just fucking hanging out, man, in the mountains. And I considered never coming back. And so that was the last time I took a vacation. Anytime I take time off from what I do during the day is either for V Surveillance, school, or very rarely, but occasionally Gamerhead Radio. Not so much in this last year, and last like 8 months, I'd say. But those are the only times I ever take off work, and it's kind of like taking off from the day job to go do more work, different work that I like more than that. But it's still work. So it just kind of reach a point of burnout. So I took some time off originally to go see Mr. One-time B Squad co-host Ryan On graduate from basic military training in the Air Force. By the way, small update, wow. He did graduate. I spoke to him on the phone earlier today. I got a fucking kind of mind-boggling picture from him in the mail of his graduation photo from the military, which I'm he'll probably fucking kill me and hate me forever. But this is Ryan's military graduation photo. He is officially an airman of the United States Air Force.
And no one heard from John again.
Yeah, I know.
He looks like he's like about to. He looks like he's like holding. Can you put that picture up again?
Yeah,
it looks like he's holding back a laugh, or like, I don't know, just like it looks like there's a snicker, like there's some sort of hidden like mischievous glee in that expression of his.
Give to you the one fragment, because Ryan's a very private man. I don't want to discuss the conversations we had, but Ryan did say, I sent you a photo. He talked to me on the phone. Sent you a photo from graduation of my stupid smirking beardless face. He is very angry that he has to shave his beard off for the next 4 years every day forever. So he
can have a mustache if he wanted, right? Just nothing below the lip.
No, the Air Force doesn't allow you to have shit.
Anything really,
unless you have a waiver for it, like a beard waiver.
Is that a thing that exists? A beard waiver?
Yeah, because some people's religions require them to grow a beard. You know what I mean? There are also in the
okay,
Air Force,
right.
like if you're a Sikh, you can actually have a beard, and there are Air Force turbans for Sikhs now. That's a fairly new, very new thing.
All right.
So
That's cool.
they're trying to be a little more progressive. But anyways, let's put a cork in Soldier Head Radio, Airman Head Radio, and move on. He's doing really well.
The reason why I asked, just to clarify, the reason why I asked about the mustache is I know for like firemen, for example, they can't have facial hair because of the air mask they need to wear. It needs to get a seal. That's why a lot of firemen only have the mustaches because that's all they can have. So I just assumed it was something similar.
Oh,
but
I thought it was just the 80s.
No,
not
at all. But anyways, so I spoke to him. I was originally going to go down there to hang with him for graduation, but the cost to travel down there, it was fucking exorbitant. Even with weeks, of advance notice, it was just too much. It was just too much. So as it turns out, he's going to end up being stationed for tech school at the Air Force base that my father was stationed at in Biloxi, where I grew up and my brother was born. So for tech school. So I told him, hey, man, I'll just come down there and hang with you, and we'll fucking catch up, on a weekend or something where I'll be able to hang with you for the whole weekend, not just like 5 hours before they throw you back in your military prison cell. So he's doing really well. So that was the first part of my week, was the plan. So last weekend, I got sick last weekend, and spent the first 3 days of my vacation laid up, just in agony. So that was not fun. Not the vacation I planned for. After that, I spent most of the week, honestly, just playing with my son, man. Hanging out with my boy, getting some extended time with my boy and my wife, and playing a fuckload of video games. So I'll talk about what I played coming up. But that was my week. Also helping my brother for a small portion of time yesterday take apart the studio, because he is moving the studio, and that has been quite a thing all week. Which is done though; it's finished. So that was my week. That's everything we had. Charlie, surely some video games are going to be coming out this week that the people may or may not want to play.
May I just point out that we lead very, very different lives.
Extraordinarily different lives, yes. John, as it happens, yes, there are in fact some video games coming out this week. So on Tuesday, October 4th, we're getting Atari Flashback Classics Volumes 1 and 2, two separate releases of coming out for the Xbox One and the PS4. Because they couldn't, they needed 2 Blu-ray discs to fit all the Atari games. Okay, sure.
I'm sure it's all the Atari games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that could fit on a CD, let alone a Blu-ray. But then we've got A Bastard's Tale coming out on the PS4, Origami coming out on the PS4, Rocksmith 2014 edition remastered. I don't know why they just didn't call it 2016 edition, but okay, coming out on the PS.
That's kind of stupid, but all right.
Coming on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. Dead Synchronicity, Tomorrow Comes Today. Okay, that's a title coming out on the Xbox One and the PS4. Rogue Stormers coming out on the PS1 and the PS1. No, the Xbox One and the PS4. My words have failed me. Space Hulk Ascension coming out on the PS4. Viking Squad coming out on the PS4 and the PC. Warhammer: The End Times, Vermintide. Okay, coming out on the Xbox One and the PS4. And Wheels of Aurelia coming out on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U. On Wednesday, October 5th, Slain: Back from Hell is coming out on the Xbox One. And Thursday, October 6th, Syndrome is coming out on the PC. Friday, October 7th, Mafia 3 is coming out on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. Paper Mario Color Splash is coming out on the Wii U. The Silver Case is coming out on the PC. WRC 6 is coming out on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. And Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location is coming out on the PC. Apparently, yet another game in the series. Looking into the future, oh my good lord, next week is going to be a long list. So skipping platforms on Monday, October 10th, 100-Foot Robot Golf. On Tuesday, October 11th, Criminal Girls 2 Party Favors.
That's a pre-order for Charlie.
No. Dragon Quest Builders, Gears of War 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Definitive Experience, Rise of the Tomb Raider Blood Ties, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebrations. That's the PS4 release of the game finally coming out. Ruse, Rues, Sunless Sea, Submariner. That's with a Z for instead of reasons. WWE 2K17 and Valkyrie Drive Bukhuni. That's all coming out on Tuesday, October 11th. Wednesday, October 12th, Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary World Tour. And on Thursday, October 13th, no wonder this list is so long. We're getting the PlayStation Virtual Reality, the PSVR is getting its release, and all of the games associated with that are coming out.
50 titles, isn't it?
A lot of this list is comprised of Ace Banana, Batman Arkham VR, Crazy Machines 3, Drive Club VR, Moto Racer 4, Riggs Mechanized Combat League, Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR Mission, Res Infinite, Roller Coaster Dreams, Shadow Warrior 2. That's a PC title, sorry. Not all these are PSVR. Almost all of them, but not all of them. Super Hypercube, Thumper, World War Tunes, and Yesterday Origins. Most of those are PSVR titles, others for other platform. And Friday, October 14th, Disney Magical World 2, Hatsune Miku VR Future Live, Farming Simulator 17, and 2 games that were in my release list earlier, and so Kotaku might be confused. But yeah, so long list of games there. So just looking at the next week though, I just saw a commercial today for Mafia 3 on TV, and I'm actually very interested in this game. It actually looks really good. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it looks bland as hell.
Really? Oh, well,
yeah.
I mean, like,
but I've also never been a big proprietor of the Mafia series. It's always felt I've always liked the idea of the setting of the games.
Mm-hmm.
They've always felt like I could do this better in Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, I don't expect it to be as good as Grand Theft Auto 5, to be clear.
Sure.
I also have not played also any of the earlier Mafia games as well, so I don't really have any sense of comparison there. But just the one commercial I saw today for Mafia 3 was very compelling to me. It'll probably, we'll see how reviews go, see if I even consider picking it up or not. But yeah. But are you guys looking for anything on this list?
I am vaguely interested in Gears of War 4. I'm not expecting it to be good though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that.
I want it to be, but I just with Cliff Bleszinski not being involved. I mean, whether you like or dislike that guy, I mean, he was the beating heart of that series, and I like the Gears of War games for what they are. I mean, I chalk them up to the video game equivalent of Big Dumb Popcorn flicks, but they're really well done, well made Big Dumb Popcorn flicks, and I enjoy them, even if I don't think they're very smart. I always feel like you got a good bang for your buck with those games. Like you got a complete game, you got a full game, everything was there. So I want this game to be good, but I'm not buying it. I've been burned so much by day one titles in the last 2 years that I'm gonna wait and see how the shit pans out. But that's kind of it. There's not really anything else other than the PlayStation VR, which, by the way, a little birdie that wears a top hat told me that he is probably picking up a PSVR at launch, and then he said that the fine gents from Gamerhead Radio will be invited over to play with that VR unit so that we can talk about it on the show.
Well, does this top-headed birdie have one pre-ordered? Because my understanding is that's the only way to get one right now.
I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, so we'll see. Even if he has to wait to get one, he'll whatever. But my brother's a PlayStation nut, so.
Well, that's crap.
Yeah.
That's crap.
All the cool stuff happens when I'm out doing cool stuff.
That's what you get for going out and being a fucking road pirate.
Hey, I'll take it.
And then, yes, to answer a question Dustin Falconer put up in chat, yes, the Gears 4 is one of those Play Anywhere Xbox One titles, which I understand why, but I'm a little disappointed that I didn't quite catch in the initial release that it's digital purchase only. And so because Recore was the first one to come out, I believe, that was a Play Anywhere title. I bought the physical copy. I'll talk more about that when we get into what we've been playing. But I was disappointed to find out that there wasn't a code in the box that enabled the Play Anywhere functionality. It's only for digital purchases from. Yeah, and technically I understand why it's that way. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. I just didn't think about it, and so I was disappointed.
Well, physical is going the way of the dodo, because even the Ultimate Editions and all that for your games are only digital. If you don't get the upgraded version, you can't get it on disc anymore.
Yeah, Dustin, I would be surprised if it was on Steam. I have a feeling like you're going to have to buy it from the Microsoft store. It might
as
be.
they own it,
Yeah, I don't.
all
I
of it.
mean, possible, but I doubt it. I'm sure that'll have to be a direct from Microsoft purchase, which you'd want to do, so that if you eventually got an Xbox One, you could play it digitally on that too with the same purchase. It's digital specifically from Microsoft sources, not digital from anywhere. So yeah, but yeah. Um, and then I actually don't know anything about this Paper Mario game. Do you guys know anything about Paper? What was it? Paper Mario Color Splash?
Nope, but I'm gonna do
I'm
some live
guessing
googling
it's a
right
black and
now.
white game, and as you
Paper
go
Mario Color
through it,
Splash is an upcoming action adventure video game developed by Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo for the Wii U. Um, so yeah, somehow this completely was not on my radar at all.
It looks
Nin-
really nice though.
Yeah, it looks really good.
The images and stuff
Nintendo's
for it
been
looks.
kind of flying under the radar for months, though. If you think about it, they're just kind of like, oh, here you go. Oh, by the way, here you go.
Here, I'll screen share really quick for anybody watching the show. It really really vibrant looking game.
Would
So
you say it's splashed with color?
I would say that it is splashed with color. Yeah, but I mean it looks really sharp, and the it almost looks like it says Paper Mario, but it looks like construction paper style art, and maybe even a little bit of felt in the backgrounds laying on top of the cardboard and
Yeah,
some
it has a
really really
very like crafty look to it.
yeah.
Like the clouds in the background are being hung by string.
I'm
Like
not
it
gonna
look
lie, I would play this. I think this looks cool as shit.
yeah.
Okay, so it's got that like that Mario, the Yoshi yarn thing going on.
Yeah,
Like
Yoshi's Woolly World definitely has that aesthetic
that's
to it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, good stuff.
All right,
Yeah. So I might be looking into that because I love a good Mexico
Mario.
game, especially if it
So
has multiplayer. That'd be
so are
amazing.
we gonna? Yeah, are we gonna gloss over the fact that Mario and the Mafia game come out the same day?
Super
um,
Mafia.
Yeah, I mean he's Italian. I'm just saying, kind of conspiracy theory thing.
It's true. It's true.
well. Speaking of conspiracy theories, we'll get to those a little bit later.
Oh yeah, we
But
will.
You like that little bump there?
yeah, good. Yeah, good foreshadowing there. I like that.
Excellent.
But yeah. So yeah, those are releases. Hooray for lots of video games.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're on to what did we play? And
That's
I'm
right.
guessing I'm gonna go with Neckbeard Flynn because I'm guessing it's going to be an absurdly huge list.
I'm gonna try and keep it brief. I did. It's not even that the list is huge. I did a lot of what I would call very focused gaming this week because I didn't have a bunch of distractions. Um,
So it's not the size; it was the girth of the gaming you used. Okay.
isn't it always goat? Isn't it always? I went back. I somehow okay when Games with Gold did a sale just a couple weeks ago where they put on sale the Arkham Knight DLC, and I think it was like $12 or something like that. And I was like, okay, that I'll fucking buy because there's enough. My brother has shown me what's in that content pack. That's enough for me to spend on that content because I know I'll get $12 worth of game out of that. Probably closer to $15 worth of game in my opinion, maybe even more. I don't know. So I downloaded it, and what I didn't expect to happen, what my plan was, is to just play through the DLC. What I didn't expect to happen was for me to spiral downward into a fucking Arkham Knight bender, which I kind of thought I was done with the game, and I had some not entirely harsh things to say about it when we kind of first played it and talked about it when we reviewed it, but I think I think the industry as a whole has been so fucking terrible, and so many games have been so incomplete and disappointing in the last 2 years that after going back and playing that felt really really well done and really really well complete compared to the shit that we've been getting. So I actually am changing my review for Arkham Knight. It was actually fucking outstanding. I don't know what happened, but I kind of fell in love with the game again. I played all of the DLC content that wasn't just AR challenges or like Batmobile races, which I
Yeah,
love, by the way. I think that those are amazing. Charlie, did you check those out when you got the season pass?
A little bit, yes. Especially like
Oh
some
my
of the
god.
races, like especially the retro stuff, was just
They're
so well
so
done.
amazing. The little
Yeah.
like mini sets that they built based on the movie, so good.
Yep.
But I did all the DLC stuff for that. You were right, Charlie. Batgirl's DLC stuff was really good, very well handled, and really well done. Um, Even though most of them were really short, I enjoyed all of them. And then what happened was still wanted to play. So I went back and I can say almost kind of proudly that I finished every fucking Riddler challenge in the game. Finished all of them.
Nice.
I have, I think, 120% completion rating in the game now, or something, and some
Yep.
415 total like points or whatever on the leaderboard. So I played the shit out of it. I started a new game plus, and I'm probably going to keep playing it. I've probably done about 50 of the 250, AR challenges, and I'm just going to do those slowly over time. Hey, I feel like playing Batman. I'm fucking do that. I played some Battlefield Hardline just because I've had it for a few weeks. I haven't really touched it. It's not very good, but I only paid $5 for it, so I'm happy with my purchase. I still think the single player game is great. The multiplayer is really unbalanced and kind of funky. I don't know. I played some more of The Long Dark because they updated it graphically and are putting things into it, new things, new menus and stuff. I'm still enjoying that game. Nothing new to say about it though. And then I've really been starving for a narrative, so I played a little bit of Final Fantasy Type Zero HD. I'm enjoying it. It's weird and quirky. It's going to be one of those things I play gradually though. And I don't have much to say about it other than that it's a really flexible combat system with a lot of variety. And then lastly, I am just now falling down the fucking Witcher 3 rabbit hole. Fuck, it's good, man. Like I think the menus are garbage. It's got some clunky, shitty ass menus, and I think that the controls could be tighter, especially after playing Arkham Knight. But it's fucking, man, is that a masterfully made game? It's really good. But that's pretty much all I played this week. I played things where I could sit there and play for a couple hours at a time and really just dig into it. And man, I forgot how good it feels to just unwind and play a game for extended periods like that, because I play them in like 25, 45-minute chunks when I'm lucky, 2 or 3 times a week, and that's it. So it was nice to play like the old days. Charlie, what about you, man? What'd you play this week?
Well, okay, so there's a couple games I want to talk about. So the first is that I finished Unraveled.
Hmm.
Unravel. It's video games are a source of entertainment, right? And so like when you're done with it, the entire point of being entertained is when it's over to look back at and say like, I'm glad I did that. Like that was worth the time that I spent on it just because of whatever reason. Unravel was a complete waste of my time. I mean the game was
Holy
pretty.
shit.
Visually the game was very well done. There were some interesting mechanics to it, but got nothing out of it. Like I went through people who listen to the show every week have probably heard me like go through several changes of opinion on the game. It's like first I felt weird, like I'm seeing like some person's like intimate like memories and like history and just like I don't know, I just feel like I'm intruding onto something very personal here. Then the game started to took a weird turn into being like environmentally preachy, like it was weird, and at the end of it just there was no resolution or connection to anything. Like there was no story, as it turns out. There was just like these levels where you're collecting photographs that maybe in the creator's eyes they know the narrative and they understand the story, but I sure as heck couldn't figure it out. And if it was there, it wasn't. I mean, like it clearly was not impactful enough on me to make any sort of difference. I mean, like
Wow.
I if I had time travel abilities, I would go back in time and tell myself, just don't bother. It's spending time on something else. It's not worth it. So, I mean,
Yeah, interesting.
it wasn't bad. It was just pointless. I mean, like, I don't know if that's worse, but yeah. But so that's Unravel. I have put some more time into Beyond Two Souls. Loving it.
Awesome.
It's I'm still I'll save further comments until I finish the game, just because I got a couple more things I want to talk about here. The next one, John, is something that you forgot to speak up on. That I played through the second episode of Batman the Telltale series.
Fuck, I did play that.
Yes, you did.
We'll talk. I'll share my opinion while you're talking, since.
So
Eh,
no,
eh,
okay. So yeah. So we
super careful.
we won't be spoilery because Goat is has not played it, I'm sure, because he's he's on tour.
Um,
Go
I have
ahead.
a lack of internet to download.
Yeah. So we won't be spoilery on plot details. But I will say that it has continued the pace, and the my satisfaction is just as high as when I finished the first episode. What they're doing the story that they are telling, this Batman story is something that I can't speak about the comic books. I haven't read barely.
It's
I've
an
read
original story.
I mean, well, okay, but more what I was going to say is that I don't. I've read like 1% of the Batman comics or comic books in general. So
Mhm.
what I can say is that John, what percentage of the Batman comics have you read? Like a pretty high percentage, do you know?
A pretty substantial percentage.
So have we ever seen? I understand that the story here is original. Have we ever seen anything even remotely like this before?
Mm, no,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not as such. I
Okay.
mean, there. Here's what I've noticed with the way Batman franchises are being handled in video games. And Rocksteady did this with the Arkham games as well. There are like little patchwork pieces from various chunks of Batman's history that get smashed together as like a fan service type thing, but are presented in slightly spruced up or freshened ways so that people don't get bored of it. I guess I don't know. People who might be familiar, so it kind of treads the line between being familiar enough for people who know where it comes from, but enough changes that it's fresh for new people or fresh for those people, but it doesn't piss off the old school. Like there's a fine line. There are some original ideas that I have not seen in comics, especially after playing Chapter Two. Um, the goat. This is not a spoiler. The second chapter is titled "Children of Arkham," and Charlie, what I'll say to you, since you've played it, Children of Arkham, as it's presented in the second episode, is an original idea. It could be one thing that looks vaguely familiar artistically, visually, but I don't think it's that. And I won't say what I think it is, just in case.
So I'll say this. I'll ask this question and remain vague. So the character that we are introduced to in the second episode, this is a new character as far as you know.
As far as I can tell, yeah. As far as I can tell, there's
Okay.
one, like I said, artistically, there's a visual cue that makes it look maybe like it's from a Batman type character or organization from New 52, but I don't think it's them or
Okay.
him or they or whatever. So there is a lot of original ideas. The way that they're handling Penguin and Two Face and Harvey Dent, this is a completely like alternate. This is Telltale's Batman for sure. Same way Arkham said this is our Batman universe and what we would do with him and our story with him. Telltale's doing that. This is our take on these characters. It's almost kind of like Telltale's almost feels like what if Gotham was just actually a Batman TV series where they're taking liberties with these characters that have kind of nothing to do with their original origins. But I'm not hating it either because it's fun. It's well crafted. I think it's a much better episode than episode 1, personally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I think I don't know which one I think is better. I felt like this one was shorter to me. I'm not sure why I think that, but I felt like it was shorter.
Because it was better.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, but no, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving just this fresh take and just this new, like, just really just like the way that they're really getting into what it's like for Bruce Wayne to be Bruce Wayne at the same time as he's being Batman in these situations. Like
Yeah.
they yeah, they give you, again, just remaining vague, they give you a choice at one point in the second episode where you can go where you're going to go confront a character about something, and you have the choice of whether or not to confront him as Bruce Wayne or as Batman, and that to me was just brilliant.
Oh, it was
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
It
Yeah.
is awesome
That's
because
really
now
cool.
I want to go back and do the opposite of what I
Yeah.
chose.
Yeah.
Charlie, what did you choose there? I mean, we're not going to go into specifics, Goat, but what did you choose?
I went as Batman.
I went as Bruce Wayne.
Cool.
See, and that's just as a
But
funny comment, like, you know how at the end of it oh go, you have something? Sorry.
that leaves me to go as Two Face.
I do not believe that was one of the options.
I you know the if you guys have ever played a Telltale game, you know that at the end of each chapter they tell you whether, like, many of the major choices, how you compare to the majority of people that have played. Most of the time I line up with the majority. Every now and then, like, I'll go through a chapter where I'm like the complete opposite, like I'm in the minority in all the choices. The first time, I think, where I have taken the less popular decision in almost every major decision.
Yeah.
So
They
I
made
found
it
that
tricky
I
this
found
time,
that
though.
interesting.
Some of the
Yeah.
decisions that you make, there's another kind of important or major choice right near the end. And I want to be honest with you, I chose what I thought was I chose what I chose for a specific reason. But as it turns out, it was the majority chose this direction. There are a few big choices in this scenario, but we can't talk about it until Goat gets to play it.
Yep.
But I will
Sorry,
say
guys.
this. No, it's okay, man. I will say this. I think the pacing is much better than the first chapter.
Okay.
I think that they're really kind of starting to get a roll on, and I think that some of the action in chapter 2 was really good. There's a bar scene between. I
Yes.
loved that fucking
Yeah.
scene, man. That involves Batman and Catwoman, and that's all I'll say about it. I loved that scene. It was really really well paced. That was
Yeah.
classic Telltale right there.
Yeah, no, I loved it.
So
Absolutely loved
yeah.
it. Yeah, definitely enjoying that. And so finally, I put some time into Recore, broke the plastic open,
Oh, look at you
played
getting
it,
bold.
and I I'm gonna keep playing it, but my initial impressions on the game, um, the my biggest problem with the game is that it's giving me a very hard. It's making it hasn't given me a reason to really care yet about what's happening. Like so I mean, if you paid much attention at all to the game, you'll know that it takes place on a planet that's being terraformed, and you play the role of a woman named Jewel, which I think is a very funny play on words there, because it's like you think it's short for like Julie, but it's spelled like Joule, like electricity, which I think is just funny.
Huh, kind of
Um,
interesting.
but and so she's like, it seems like she's woken up early. Like it seems like that there's a bunch of people who are kept in like stasis, and they're woken up when there's a problem with the terraforming, because the terraforming takes place over a very long period of time. And so when like machine breaks down or whatever, it wakes somebody up to have them go fix it.
Yeah.
And so she's not really sure what's happening. She's not really sure what's going on. But the narrative, it's like when the game starts, it just puts you like right into the game. Like there's no opening cinematic or cutscene or explanation out of what's going on. But the story is being fed to me via narration, like disembodied God voice, little by little as I'm playing through the game, which is not really working for me. I feel like I needed a lot of this information, a lot of this reason to care about what's happening, like at the beginning, like because like once I get into it, it's just like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. But it's sort of like I've if what I'm saying is making sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of weird. I will say that the combat is great. Because you have to, it does like the whole color coded thing between like you want to shoot, essentially you want to shoot blue enemies with the blue bullets and red enemies with the red bullets. Really, I would say to simplify it, but it really is just that simple. But there's also mechanics about you've got your if you watch any of the trailers, you've got that like little robot dog that follows you around,
Yeah.
who can also take other forms. And upgrading him requires you to basically rip cores, find blueprints and then to rip cores and find elements out of them. And so in the process, when you're fighting enemies, there's like a health bar, your typical health bar above their head. But then there's a point where when you get their health down to a certain point, you can then basically make an attempt to rip the core out of them. But of course, if you're being surrounded by like 5 or 6 different enemies, you have to really strategize, like, okay, do I think I have enough time to try and rip this core out, or somebody's going to hit me while I'm doing it? And so there's actually a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking that goes into what otherwise could be a very bland action game. So I do like that very much. The world is interesting, but kind of meh. One of the, a lot of the reviews talk about how it just doesn't look like a current gen game, and I'll agree with that. Especially when you're in the open outer world. When you get into some of the caves, some of like the textures and like the reflecting like glossy rock surfaces and crystalline structures that you find around are very cool looking. But the outer world is very just, well, it's rock and sand. I mean, like I don't know that there's really that much to do with that to begin with.
Not on a percentage, but as a number of hours completed. How far into this do you think you are?
I'm about not much to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours into it. But that's actually something I was going to mention too. This game is absolutely vomiting up achievements. I am, like I said, I'm going to say I'm like an hour and a half in. I already have 250 out of 1,000 gamer score. So there's that. If you care about that kind of a thing. Game percentage wise, according to the game, I'm 8% through the game. It's I don't know if that's overall story or absolutely everything there is to do. That much is not clear to me from what I've seen.
How long to beat has record? About 10 hours for main story, and about
That's it?
14
Okay.
if you do extras.
Okay, well then that feels about right then. Because I have been kind of like putzing around, like looking for stuff. So I don't know. It's reviews on the whole. I'm trying not to be influenced by them when I say that I am agreeing with them. It feels like there's a lot more that they could have done to make it interesting. But I also I feel like at this point I'm sort of like I was when I started Unravel. It's like it's very pretty, but I'm not really sure what's happening. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm gonna keep playing it. But not wowed on initial impressions. So that's my quick take on that. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Right on. It sounds like everybody squeezing a little bit of action. But Goat, you have yet to tell us what you had a chance to play this week. And Goat did finally get some gaming in this week whilst on the
Yes,
road.
yes. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We finally got the Xbox One hooked up, so our bus is finally like livable. Um,
Yep, you're still there.
okay. It my phone paused. Sorry, I'm on smaller technology. Sorry to the listeners and viewers. So we got MK Mortal Kombat XL. We've been beating the living dog shit out of each other for the last
Excellent.
3 or 4 days on that. I'm getting really good at Jason, really good at Alien. Let's see. We've
So
got
what you're
NHL
saying is
7.
we're gonna have to battle when you get home, then, right?
Yeah, I should be pretty well seasoned by the time I get home.
Very good. Very good.
Let's see. We've been playing a lot of NHL 17 because we're hockey nuts, and it's kind of a pick up a put down game that we can kind of work around our schedule. What else have we been playing? A lot of Rocket League. A lot.
Oh,
Like
it's so fucking
Really
good.
nice.
yeah, like an obscene amount of shit talking and Rocket League at 5 in the morning.
Just like
Um,
are you like playing split screen or?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah. We really don't have that much internet down the road, so yeah, split screen.
Some of the
Um,
most fun I've had recently playing games was when you and I got to play Rocket League. Goat, I really need to pick that up so we can just play it.
it's even better when you have beer and the person is right next to you and you can punch them. They do the stupid thing and like score on your own team and stuff like that. So then, a couple days ago, we stopped in Stevens Point for a show, and there was a place called Tech Lounge, which is a video game cafe kind of thing, coffee house. And
Nice.
they do by the hour and stuff like that. And we sat down and played Overwatch. Me and my
Mhm.
TM did, and I get the hype. I
Really?
probably won't buy it, but I get the hype. He bought it.
Okay.
But it's like I get it. It looks pretty. It's fun. I suck at it, so I mean that's all right. But I finally got my hands on it and kind of got the preview, and I get it. And
It's
then
fucking rad, right? It's a
yeah,
beautiful, well designed, graphically impressive. The
yeah,
art design is outstanding.
I'll pick it up for like the same price you picked up Evolve for. I think, yeah, somewhere in there
Yeah,
because I
that's fair.
am terrible at it. And then Charlie picked up Recore because we were supposed to all like 2 weeks ago had a conversation about picking up games we weren't sure about. I don't remember what John's game was, but he didn't do it. But I picked up Metroid Prime
Oh,
Fusion Force or Federation Force, whatever the hell it
Yeah,
interesting.
is.
you had just gotten that on the last episode. So yeah,
Yeah,
John was supposed to play some more Mighty Number Nine, but yeah.
that's right.
Which
Yeah,
actually I am probably going to do this evening because I really do want to get through that, and it's not a very
it,
long game.
way to be a day late.
Witcher and Arkham, man, they swallowed me
But
whole.
oh yeah. But John actually should. I might just give John my copy when I get home because it is a Mech Warrior game with about 3 shakes of Metroid on it. It's all grades of Metroid.
I'm not
Really?
even mad at that in one way.
Yeah, I mean it's they're like mechs, do this, do that, do that. And then like they make like very very vague references to the Metroid world here and there. Like, oh yeah, by the way, it's Metroid Prime. I'm like, thanks for that. That was fun. But it's a really good game. It's fun. It's interesting. Blowing stuff up and walking around and blowing more stuff up. But yeah, definitely hanging on by a thread for the Metroid titling.
Interesting.
But
Alright.
That's about all I got in this week,
Shit,
which is
man,
actually
that's
pretty
more
decent
gaming
given my
that you
crazy
normally
schedule.
get in on a standard week, man. All you got to do is go on
Well,
2 or more, and you get plenty of time to play between
I
sets.
mean, when I got downtime and I'm just trapped on the tube with video games. I mean,
Hmm.
it's either that or sleep. That's about all I do when I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
working.
right on.
Cool, cool.
Well, it sounds to
So
me like we all got a pretty fair amount of gaming in this last week. We should also take a moment to address too anybody that was wondering. We did not do a show last week,
no,
which very rare for us that we don't do a show. Actually, I don't remember the last time we didn't do a show.
Technically speaking, because I never put it together, we skipped the best of show from last year. But aside from that,
I don't think
we
we've ever missed a
we
week.
we haven't skipped a
yeah,
week, John, since you joined. Like we
Yeah,
haven't missed a
yeah.
show since
no,
before 2015.
We'll
yeah.
we'll we'll call it the Gamerhead Radio Vacation Week, just because we've produced content for you guys
But
literally
it was a
every week
yeah.
for like shit almost 2 years that I've
It
been.
was just it was a weird Sunday. Charlie was swamped with work. I had an early set, and John was refusing to put on pants, so we just decided to take a week
What?
off.
I'm not wearing fucking pants right now, yo. It has nothing to do with pants. My dong is flying around everywhere over here, man. You don't know.
Wow.
I would
Yeah,
like.
we do. We can hear it smacking against the bottom of your desk every once in a while.
It's true. It's true. I am wearing pants, just so everybody
Uh,
knows.
and back to size and girth.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
anyways,
That's
on
right.
that
Don't you
on
forget it.
that bombshell of news, John, what do you got?
Bombshell of news. Good segue. Good segue. So this week's news offerings, a little bit more lighthearted than we've gotten in the last few weeks. I feel like lately when we do news, it's just fucking doom and gloom because really the state of the industry is kind of doomy and gloomy.
Well, I mean, the
Um,
state of the world is doom and gloom.
you know what? I'll drink to that. But number 5 is a story that I thought was really fucking cool in general. I know Charlie is gonna love this, and you really need to share this with Michelle because I think she's gonna appreciate it. Coming in at number 5, the Girl Scouts of America have created a merit badge for the Girl Scouts that they can earn for video game design, which is
Really?
yeah, man.
Girl
How cool is that
Scouts?
shit?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Nothing for
That's
the
pretty
Boy
cool.
Scouts yet, but I'm hoping that this will find its way over there too. In a story that was originally published by VentureBeat, copy reads as follows: Girl Scouts have created a patch for girls to earn a badge in video game design. The organizing groups announced their badge program last week, and that was earlier this week. And they've got another event coming this coming weekend. So that would be as of press time. That event is probably come and gone. So, Women in Games International, which I did not know was a thing, and the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles are holding an event on October 1st from the 1st to the 10th. I'm sorry, on October 1st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Sony PlayStation Santa Monica studio in Santa Monica, California. The move
So
comes 3
yesterday.
years after the Boy Scouts. Oh, so I stand corrected here. The Boy Scouts of America did create a badge back in 2013.
Hmm.
It's just that the Girl Scouts are doing it now. So I think that's fucking rad. All the event on Saturday was when the event took place yesterday. Girl Scouts will have the chance to learn what it's like to work in the video game industry from a professional, create a physical prototype and a digital prototype, and test their designs. Women in Gaming International spearheaded the LA initiative in order to prompt the Girl Scout councils across the nation to partner with local WIGI, WIGI is the acronym for that, chapters to secure sponsors and develop similar programs. Eventually, Wiggy also I can't take it seriously when I say it like that. Also hopes Girl Scouts of the USA will be inspired to add a video game design badge to its list of national proficiency badges, not just regional. Current tech proficiency badges for Girl Scouts at the national level include computer expert, digital photographer, entertainment technology, geocacher, product designer, digital movie maker, netiquette, and web designer. Um, Both GSGLA and Wiggy want to show girls possible career options in the video game industry, driving their interest in science, technology, engineering, and math subjects, or STEM subjects, as they're calling them. Girl Scouts have a long history of developing pioneers in the field of science and technology. This workshop is not only fun for our Los Angeles area Girl Scouts, it's a chance for girls to explore and experience STEM in a supportive environment, said I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Lise Lutgens, Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles CEO, in a statement. By creating a STEM-aligned video game patch program for Girl Scouts, we're helping young women see what opportunities are open to them in these fields. said Amy Allison, vice president at Wiggy. In a statement, Wiggy promotes diversity in the video game industry, and spearheading this effort means that women have more opportunities to be better represented in the next generation of video game creators. Fucking, I think that's rad, man. I
Yeah,
think that's super
absolutely.
cool.
That's fantastic.
And here's the badge that they're gonna earn, which I think is cool as shit. How about that, man? Like a fully embroidered, like PlayStation endorsed pixel heart that says video game designer underneath it. I think that's really cool, man.
So for the audio listeners, it's a white background with a green circle around it, and then like John just said, it's like a pixelated like 8 or 16-bit heart, red of course, but then with the PlayStation logo in the middle, and then underneath it says video game designer. So that's awesome.
Yeah, think like Legend of Zelda heart.
Yeah.
And then the typeface underneath is kind of supposed to be sort of pixelated as well. Really, really cool, man. It's neat to see older programs like that modernizing and like including something like video games for the boys and girls. I think it's really neat. I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid for a while, and I quit because they made me weave a fucking basket. I was just like, what am I going to do with this? I gave it to my mother. She cherished it. And by cherished, I mean it's probably in a box somewhere or thrown out. I don't know. But this is cool, man. I think this is a really great thing. Goat, you got any thoughts on this?
No.
No. Do you think this is neat? You think this is cool for little boys and little girls that they're doing this kind of shit?
To the children, I could care less.
Goat, I just have to point out that the children of today will be making the video games that we will be playing in 20 or 30 years. So little bit of reason
them when they're adults. No, I like them when they're adults.
Well, don't you want to like them as adults better because they had better childhoods?
Don't care. I had a terrible childhood, and I'm on tour, so whatever. You're in charge of your own destiny.
There you go, man. Words of wisdom from Goat. In charge of your own destiny. We got to find a way to work.
Just keep the kids over there, and when they become like, I don't know, 18 to not near me, we're
gonna try and find a
way
to work Goat's destiny into the show title.
I have the spin to make Goat care about this. Goat, if these kids are working on these merit badges, then they're doing something and not bothering you.
That's good. Yeah, it's great.
Okay. It's a great program. Great program.
More bear badges, like leave people alone badge. Yeah. Great. Stay in your own yard badge.
The get off my lawn.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's the
parent badge of I don't know, parenting your kids and keeping them away from people with tattoos and piercings that clearly don't want to interact with your kids.
Hold on.
Badge.
Bitter party of one. Your table is ready.
Oh, I've got all those badges.
The bitter badge.
Yeah.
There you
go. Bitter
There's
badge.
a show title. Goat's bitter badge.
I mean, it's cool, but
good stuff. No,
not that cool.
Dude.
All right.
All right. Moving on to number 4 for the week. So a lot of people were really excited earlier this week when it was announced that there was going to be a Skyrim concert, like a live orchestral Skyrim concert. Which, unfortunately, it's a standalone concert that's taking place in England, in London specifically. But regardless of whether you plan to travel there and go and take part in this event or not, typically whenever you see these traveling sort of like concert event type things, not Video Games Live notwithstanding, because that's a collection of video game related music. Normally the composer or whoever wrote music for it is usually largely involved to some degree, as they wrote the fucking music. Well, when this was announced, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim composer Jeremy Soule spoke up and was not happy about this. He was quoted as saying, "Concert? What concert? Anyone that knows me also knows that I care passionately about the integrity of my music. Skyrim took me years to compose, and it was constructed very carefully. Today, I'm seeing reports of a concert in Skyrim. This is the first I've heard of it." The event's called Skyrim in Concert, and it was announced by UK music promoter Sendla, which partnered with the Elder Scrolls developer Bethesda to make it happen. According to Soule, he was never asked to be involved. He said, "For the record, this concert has nothing to do with me, nor are they using any of my original scores. They had to transcribe whatever notation they're performing by ear for the recordings. This is a flawed process, as transcriptions are always fraught with errors. A careful look at the press release reveals that the concert is only, quote, based on the award-winning score by Jeremy Soule. His lack of involvement is not really discussed, in the press release and announcement for it. And he says, to be sure, I don't know who these people are, and I don't endorse a concert that is trading on my name and music that has absolutely no oversight and involvement on my part. For my fans, I just want you to know what you're getting if you pay to attend this concert. Be wary. Man, it's hard for me as a working musician to not feel bad for this gentleman and also kind of feel like I would not support this particular event under the circumstances. Not even being approached to participate in a score for a game that you wrote the music for seems really fucking dirty to me, man. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah.
No,
No.
no, no.
No.
He's probably skipping the part where that this where they were like, you write the music, we own the music, we do what we want with the music, with or without
Oh,
you.
no, that's totally true. Like, yeah, if you're writing something,
No, they have the right to. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why?
Like, legally, they're totally in the clear to do this,
Yeah.
but ethically, it's fucking crummy. It's super shitty because
Well, they
those
didn't.
songs are really well known, like the Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls theme in general, but like the Dovahkiin, like, Fusroda fucking theme.
Oh, I get
like,
it.
Everybody
I
knows
get
that
it,
theme.
but it's more like this guy's crying, poor me, and they're like, we're contractually not obligated to include you. We're not going to.
I don't know, man.
Get over it.
The amount of time it probably took to compose this stuff, even if he wasn't involved in as much as participating in the live preparation for the production, they should have at least approached him and used his sheet music in order to put this on properly. That's the one thing. Even if they just had to pay him a small fee to use the transcriptions for the work he put into the fucking time for the transcriptions, that's the one
Well, they
thing.
should have those on file anyways. That's usually part of the contract anyways. To turn it
Yeah,
on the music, transcription.
I don't think this guy should have been paid, to be clear, because he sold his rights. Like he did this, like he no longer has any sort of claim on the music. Like it doesn't belong to him anymore.
Yeah.
And so,
no, I mean paid for the transcriptions, because writing the music is one thing, but
no, I'm sure they had that already. I'm sure that, like Goat just said, I'm sure that he had to turn all that over. Like when
he says in the article that this is all transcription done by somebody else and by ear. It's not by transcription that he did.
Yeah, that's also how much is that is.
Yeah.
It sounds like this dude's just fucking getting a poor me, cry me a river. Oh, they didn't keep me
Well,
around.
let me put it to you like this. So writing music for video games, the contracts vary pretty widely. And I know this from experience because Nick and I have participated in providing music for two projects, video game related. One which saw completion in publishing, and the other one went to beta and then was shelved in favor of something else, and supposedly is going to come out at another time. When you provide music for a video game, at least standard, like industry standard contract, from what I was told, we were issued a standard contract for production. You are required to provide the music, but unless the publisher specifically requests and pays you for the service of sheeting the music, actually transcribing it, you're not required to provide sheet music for the game. Because, so if he did that on his own, they're not at all obligated to pay him for it. But my opinion is, for the consistency of their product and something that's pretty heavily representing their brand, ethically, they should have reached out to him for sheet music. And if they were going to do that, they could have thrown him a bone. A flat fee for transcribing that amount of music just takes hours of time.
So a couple things occurred to me. First of all, the Skyrim soundtrack was recorded by an orchestra, right? It wasn't just digital. So the sheet music was already on paper.
What's that?
Yeah.
Like the Skyrim soundtrack, it wasn't just digital. It wasn't a digital orchestra. It was an actual human being orchestra playing that music. So that all the music was already on paper. Like it already existed, right?
I actually don't know if that was a...
I'm certain it was. It's Skyrim. I'm sure that was a real orchestra that performed that music. So
even smaller titles, they use full orchestra.
I'm gonna look back into that. I'm gonna check into that and have an update for everybody next week, because I would be curious to know whether or not it was actually orchestrated, or whether or not it was something he did with VSTs, because it can be done. very
Oh, no,
well.
Well, yeah,
of course it can be. I would be
I've
very
hired.
surprised if
Even
Yeah,
freaking
even
Skyrim
still,
had a digital orchestra.
if he was the one conducting it and they did not require him to turn that sheet music in, then he could collect it from the musicians at the
So
end of the event, and
yes,
that's that.
yes. So two things. One is I'm making a couple assumptions here. My first
Yeah.
assumption is that this music was already on paper, and so all they had to do, like it, that assumption leads me into something else, which makes me think that there's some bad
yeah.
juju going on
That's
here.
all it is.
Because if well, but no, specifically because they presumably, from what he is saying, they paid somebody else to transcribe this music when they paid him for the transcriptions that
That's
already
my
existed.
point. That's my point.
So,
Is it could have gone that
but
way?
but now put yourself in a business mindset. Why would they do that? The only reason I could think of is that they, like, this guy and Bethesda already have a problem, and
Yeah,
they, for Bethesda to decide, we would rather, instead of paying this guy for the stuff that already exists, he just has to email us a copy. Instead of paying him for that, we are instead going to presumably pay somebody else to transcribe this music. This guy must have been a problem for them.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
That's the only yeah.
let me point out I do have an update on whether or not he used an orchestra for this. So this is from a Reddit Skyrim thread that quotes Jeremy Soule directly when asked whether or not he used an orchestra to record the music for Skyrim. He said, "My original plan was to rely more heavily on the computers and digital instruments while I would, quote, sweeten important parts of the score with live singers and musicians. This is exactly how I made the score for Skyrim. Supposedly, they also used a 30-man choir dubbed over 3 times to sound like 90.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the music is one of the first places producers look to strip the budget." So apparently, from what he's saying, with the exception of some musicians he brought in on the fringe, most of this was done digitally.
Really? Wow,
Okay.
that's really surprising.
Yeah, which
But-
means
Well, I
there
mean,
probably
sorry.
was no sheet music other than for the parts that he required somebody to record, which is usually in the modern age, if you have external musicians record for you, depending on your budget and where you're contracting those musicians for, a lot of people will send what they need recorded to other people in other parts of the country or world and have them record it and send it back, and then they'll work digitally like that back and forth. It's pretty
Sure.
common these days. So kind of strange, man. I mean, I would love to know whether or not they had a poor working
So,
relationship before this, though.
so what this sounds like is the classic situation of he was either A, a problem, or B, what most likely happened was they got a hold of him and was like, hey, we need sheet music. He shot out some exuberantly large number, and they were like, no, and went to somebody else. And now he's pissed that they didn't pay him, so he's going after them in a PR manner to save face.
I could buy
Sure.
that. I'd buy that.
Honestly, I would almost like to reach out to him and just ask him directly,
Yeah,
see whether or not
and
he has
yeah,
anything to say about it.
it'll be a
So,
sob story of Bethesda's trying to make me homeless.
well, maybe we'll see. I don't know, man. Who knows? Two
I
sides to
mean,
each coin.
Bethesda isn't known for being crappy. So
No, they're
you
not
know,
known for being
Mm-hmm.
terribly ruthless. Yeah.
yeah. So for
This is
them to
just
make this decision, I'm going to assume, just based on their reputation alone, I'm going to have to assume that there's history there that prompted them to make this
Yeah.
decision.
I feel
Or
like
very
there's a lot of moving parts here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're only getting half the story on this.
yeah,
And,
and
there's,
we
there's
could make a lot of assumptions about this.
yeah, we could make some conspiracy theories. Hey,
Yeah,
two for two.
hey, that's it, man. He's fucking on fire tonight. I mean, like, not literally, because all that
That would
facial
suck.
hair would just
I'm in
absolutely
I'm in
set
my
you ablaze.
bunks. That would mean I would probably be the asshole of this bus if
Yeah,
I was on fire.
yeah, maybe so. So unless you gents have anything else to share
No,
on that
let's
front, other than, like, maybe don't buy tickets to that show if you feel strongly about it. If you don't,
actually
give a
do it.
fuck, whatever.
I mean, go whatever. You're not gonna see it live again. I mean, until next year when they get somebody else to do it. It's no big deal.
Maybe chances are you'll get
Or
to see at least one piece of
yeah, go
Elder
see
Scrolls
Zelda,
music,
or
at
you can. I mean, you
video
can go
games
see
live.
Zelda, but you can go see Pokemon. You can go see. I mean, insert video game music here. It's kind of become a mainstream money cash-in thing. So I mean, you have
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, indeed. Moving on to number 3 for the week. So there's been a lot of talk in the last month. We've talked about it quite a bit. How unhappy people have been with No Man's Sky and some of the disparity in the overall quality of the title versus what Sean Murray has promised people. Well, in the UK, the Advertising Standards Authority is getting involved to the tune of investigating Hello Games for whether or not the game's potential materials, quote, whether or not the game's promotional materials accurately represent the game that was sold to people when it went to market. So this is kind of a long article. This was originally published by PC Gamer, so I'm not going to read the entire girth of it, but I'm going to get a couple. There you go, get the girth again. Go.
Yes,
But
I'm just waiting till there's a point where they start having to change their company name to Goodbye Games because there was no man in their sky.
That's that was a terrible joke. I'm going to move on from that.
Yes, moving on, roll over.
Frustrated with the disparity between the game's trailers, screenshots, and general information used to advertise No Man's Sky on its Steam page and what actually features in game, Reddit user Azure UK issued a formal complaint to the ASA. Ultimately, he or she feels the game's advertising is, quote, misleading and misrepresenting of the features found in the actual game, stating, I can't speak about other countries, but in the UK, there are regulations about providing advertising materials that could mislead a consumer in some way. For example, displaying things that do not, in fact, exist. The ASA say they have received a number of complaints about this game, and so the points below are not necessarily all related to things I personally took issue with, but are the issues they have picked out at the most clear cut problems amongst the complaints that they got. In the ASA response, they say that both Hello Games and Valve have a joint responsibility, and so both organizations have now been contacted by the ASA and have been told to respond to the following issues, which the ASA picked out as the primary issues compiled from a number of complaints that contacted the ASA. Complainants that contacted the ASA. The points Azure UK detailed can be found in a full list that he personally takes issue with, as well as the complaints that other people listed. Some of those issues were UI design, large-scale combat, flowing water, size of creatures, behavior of ships and sentinels, the aiming systems, among other, like a whole list of complaints. Although the ASA is a non-statutory body, which means it can't interpret or enforce legislation, it does have the power to have advertisements which breach its code of advertising practice removed, a process which, of course, prevents them from being used again. This process has now been put into motion, and should the ASA deem any of the promotional material to fall foul of said codes of conduct, Valve and Hello Games will be required to respond appropriately. Sanctions could follow if offending material is not removed. Uh, you know, this has kind of gotten crazy. Do you guys think that this is think this has gotten out of hand, or do you think that there's some merit in taking a look at this, and that maybe this is good because it has become such a common thing to falsely advertise the overall quality of the game?
So it's a split decision with me. It's good and bad that's gotten to this level. It's good because a lot of people are going to be treading a lot more lightly when they claim what their game's going to do as opposed to what it actually does, and release it should be, it should be coming out a lot stronger and more complete. So that's a positive. Hopefully that comes out of this. The negative is the fact that like now again people can cry and complain at their own bad purchases and get rewarded for it, which is a horrible precedent.
Charlie, thoughts?
So, okay, I'm, like we've talked about in previous episodes, I'm basically on board with, with the majority of Goat's thoughts on along the lines of, like people should not be, it's, when we're talking about games like No Man's Sky, it's, it seems like we here on the show have agreed that the majority of the hype that, air quotes, that No Man's Sky did not live up to is self-created by the players, by the people who wanted to buy the game. It seems like for the most part we've agreed that most of the promises, quote unquote, that they did not live to are not promises that they really kept or really made in the first place, and that people are, and then we were all pretty disappointed when they started offering refunds to people because they were complaining so loudly, because we don't feel that that's a good precedent. I think we're all generally on the same page there. Am I correct in remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So get a memory
for the most part, I think that we both feel, all three of us kind of felt that way, I think.
Yeah. So, but now if the game was truly misadvertised, if that is something that is a little bit different, because there's there's whatever the players and the whatever the consumers invent and come up with on their own and get themselves worked up for. But if this investigation does reveal that the actual developers, publisher, marketer, et cetera, the people who are responsible for selling the game and producing whatever the game, if it's discovered that they actually did falsely advertise the game, that for me that changes the dynamic, because now it's I don't really know what kind of oversight this board has. Like, I don't really understand. Like, I understand that there's that from a basic ethical perspective, I understand that you should not falsely misadvertise something. Like, if like, don't say something's an orange if it's an apple, kind of a thing. But I don't know what kind of oversight this board has. Like, if it's just for just for example's sake, the Better Business Bureau has no oversight. They're a private company that doesn't, that they have no authority on anything.
The article kind of indicated that what it was that essentially whatever advertising is deemed to be misleading must be removed and cannot be used anymore.
That's it. That is the extent.
So legal precedent, but who knows whether or not anymore could be a springboard from that.
But the only thing that they could really get probably popped on, and probably should get popped on with that, is the fact that the box is clearly printed as a multiplayer game, and it has been proven time and time again that it is.
That is a point that Darcy made mention of in our chat section, which she said, I think the number one false advertisement is the multiplayer. That was a huge letdown.
Sorry, Darcy.
She goes on to say that Mark did not enjoy the game. It might not have been what they stated, but what it was enjoyable. I think she meant unenjoyable, but correct me if I'm wrong, Darcy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that can also spiral into something else. I don't know anything about the UK's legal system, so I'm not even going to pretend to try and touch that.
I know they use bats.
I have no idea.
So on my perspective, if it is found, like I say, if it is found that they did misadvertise the game, then I don't know what the actual authority that they have is and what the repercussions could be. But I do sympathize more for players who are asking for refunds a little bit, not entirely, just a little bit more with them if it is found that they truly did misadvertise the game. That does make me respect their position a little bit more. So
all right,
so Charlie's gonna give him just the tip of refund, got
it. Just the tip of refund. No. I'm trying to stay away from penis jokes tonight, and you're steering me in the wrong direction, Goat.
Well, I mean, it's gonna happen. There's, you got me on the show.
I know. Though I suppose it has been. We're overdue for some Dick Train jokes. It's been a while. It says 2016 has been a sparse year for the Dick Train leaving the station. So
it's because we had to park it for a couple months.
Fair enough. Moving on to number 2 for the week. Hooray! It looks like a Portal movie is going to be coming down the pipeline via J.J. Abrams. Now, I know a lot of people fucking hate J.J. Abrams. Oh, groan all you want, Goat.
No, it's just high profile and video games.
Look, I'd rather them give it to somebody like him than give it to like fucking Justin Lin or something like that. Mr. Fast and Furious. Yeah, or Jerry Bruckheimer. No,
they should give it to that Shyamalan guy. That'd be a good one.
Oh my God! Why would you do that, Goat? Why would you do that to us?
Because Portal's a plot twist. I don't know.
That's my take. I'm gonna say no good.
I have zero input on this, as I barely watch movies. Let alone
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Know who people who make movies are.
Yeah. So the story behind this week again comes from PC Gamer. Word of J.J. Abrams led Portal and Half-Life movies first surfaced about 3 years ago when the esteemed film director and Valve's Gabe Newell floated the idea at DICE 2013 Summit in Las Vegas. In March of this year, Abrams confirmed both films' existence, saying, quote, "They're in development." He said, however, information has been thin on the ground since. When pressed by IGN at this past week's Westworld Red Carpet event, Abrams confirmed he's meeting with Valve next week, saying, "We have a meeting coming up next week with Valve. We're very active. I'm hoping that there will be a Portal announcement fairly soon. We are having some really interesting discussions with writers, many of whom, once you said you're doing a movie or show about a specific thing that is a known quantity, you start to find people who are rabid about these things," which is pretty reassuring, given the fact that Newell hasn't spoken before these about the poor quality of pitches he's received from Hollywood production companies over the years, some of which were, quote, brutally the worst as a result of not understanding what made a good game, or made a game good. Abrams continued saying, as someone who loves playing Half-Life and Portal, what's the movie of this? It's incredible when you talk to someone who just gets it. It's like, oh my God, it really gets, it's really the seed for this incredible tree you're growing. I look forward to being able to talk about it and announce who's working on it. Fuck yeah, man. I don't care what anybody says. If anybody I think could nail a Portal movie, I think it could be him. He's got an eye for the fantastical. You know, he did. I know people have varying degrees of opinions on him. I am not a like end to end. J.J. Abrams is the guy because to me his work has been very hit or miss. I think Super 8 started out fantastic and fucking fell apart at the end. I think that the original Cloverfield was fun but really fucking stupid. Like he's not been this like top tier filmmaker from end to end to me. I did like Episode 7, even though he did use a lot of ideas from the original movies. You know, I don't know, man. Hit or miss for me. But I think that he's good in a
You know who I wish
sci-fi setting.
Yeah, no, I think he could do fine. You know who I'd rather had it? Neil Blomkamp.
You think so? Honestly, man,
Yes.
I've got more beef with him as time goes on. I thought Chappie was terrible.
Really, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay. I liked Chappie better than I liked Elysium.
And that's the other thing. Elysium was a big disappointment, honestly,
Yeah.
with the exception of some of his short films and you know, District 9. It's kind of been very, very hit or miss. Visually, though, I think you are correct. I think he's an outstanding visual storyteller.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, well, we're getting off topic here, but I don't know. I think if I think it's going to depend a lot on who has the script here because, you know, did they say that? Because who
They didn't say anything about the script
Okay.
yet. He said he's hoping to talk about who's working on the movie soon, but no, he's meeting with Valve as of the recording of this episode. It probably, presumably, inside of this next 5-day work week.
Okay. I think
So,
sorry, go ahead. Go.
what they need to do here, though, is they need to have it so you have to watch. You have one side of the portal in one theater, and the other side of the portal in the other theater. So you have to actually watch the movie twice for the cash game.
Interesting.
That would be interesting. I would. I have not seen something like that before, so maybe. Yeah, I think he could pull off directing it well. I don't think he's the right person to write the script. I think somebody. No. Yeah, I think the right script writer would be the other crucial piece of that puzzle.
See, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that because I like his Star Trek movies as well, even though some Star Trek fans don't like those movies. I like them. He can be a good writer, but it just depends. Like, have either of you seen Star Trek Beyond?
Not yet.
He was noticeably not involved. It's a massive difference in the way that he did those first two movies. So he can be a good writer and a good storyteller, but I think that if he does write the script, he needs to get somebody in there to back it up with him. You just got to get the right person. But I'm excited about this. I hope maybe Portal will be the first great video game movie. Half-Life and Portal are two really strange choices because they have two characters in the lead that don't fucking talk. So you have to characterize them. It's really odd. Mm-hmm. I'm all about it, though.
Whatever. It's going to happen if we like it or not.
Moving on to number one for the week. And what I saw was probably the most talked about thing during the course of the week. Kind of at the end of the week here. Twitch, last year, we talked about Amazon acquired Twitch last year. And there was some discussion about what are they going to do with it once they got it. Well, that's now been rolled out. If you have Amazon Prime, you now have Twitch Prime. Have you heard about this, Charlie?
No, actually.
Oh, you're going to be so fucking excited because you're a Prime member. I was a Prime member up until about 3 weeks ago, and I let it lapse for a couple of reasons, but fuck, now I kind of want to get it again. Twitch Prime is the newest enhancement from Amazon's popular Prime subscription, bringing an array of, quote, free features and services to users of the popular video game streaming platform. If you have an existing Amazon Prime membership, going for $99 annually or $10.99 monthly, then you have Twitch Prime, alongside Amazon's many other Prime-powered incentives like 2-day shipping and video streaming. When Amazon purchased Twitch for nearly $1 billion, which was one of our news stories back in, it was actually in 2014. Oh God, I wasn't even part of the show then. Was I?
No,
Maybe.
No?
No.
nope.
Nope.
Your first show was at
It
the
was
start of
January last
2015.
year.
Yeah.
Maybe we talked about this while I was a guest on the show, because I remember talking about this to you guys.
Maybe.
The possibility of having Twitch services rolled into Prime was an obvious application of the union. Quote, right after the acquisition, there were Reddit posts and tweets asking when we would offer Twitch Prime. Twitch's Robin Fontaine wrote. Here's the list of services you're going to get with this. In case fucking Amazon Prime was not a robust enough service, you're going to get free game loot every month, like a new Hearthstone hero or indie game. You're going to get discounts on new release box games at Amazon from pre-order until 2 weeks after launch.
To be clear, that has been a benefit for some time now. They're just rolling it into this label.
Link your Amazon and Twitch accounts for, quote, ad-free viewing experiences. So if you frequent Twitch, you're not going to get any more ads, which that's part of the reason I don't spend a lot of time on Twitch, because I fucking hate watching the same ad 50 times for whatever AMD product they're hawking. Free stuff like exclusive emotes and chat badge, and one free channel subscription every 30 days. So Twitch Prime will replace the pre-existing, quote, Turbo product in the countries where Twitch Prime is available: US, UK, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, while Turbo will remain an option in other countries. Turbo, first unveiled in early 2013, provided much of what's included in Twitch Prime, notably an ad-free experience for $8.99 a month. Existing Turbo members can keep their subscription, but, quote, considering everything we've included with Twitch Prime, we hope you'll consider upgrading. Fontaine notes in QA section of the announcement. If you have both Turbo and Amazon Prime, you may want to consider canceling Turbo, as Twitch Prime includes all of the benefits of Turbo. Existing Amazon Prime members will need to link their accounts at twitchprime.com. For non-Amazon members, Amazon offers a free 30-day trial. Maybe they're not massive or substantial bonuses to having a Prime membership, but fuck, is there any way they could have made Prime any more attractive? You know, they just rolled a bunch of extra shit into Prime. I love this, man.
That's their goal. They want the
Charlie,
world.
don't you lie to me. Are you over there linking your account right now live during the show?
Maybe.
you busted. I saw the fucking white flash of a web page opening in Charlie's face, and he had this twinkle in his fucking eye that he gets when he's being all Charlie and shit. You know, and there it was.
John, you
like,
get me.
Must make haste. Must link now.
I seen the eyes light up when you were like, you can go link your account now, and he's like, there's what I've been waiting for.
That's it. That's exactly it. Well done. Well
you
done.
know what else is new here? I think this may be the first time you can pay for Prime monthly. I think that's new.
They switched to that a while back.
Oh, did they? Oh,
when,
okay.
When they went to $99, they were like, or you could pay more per month, but less.
Okay.
Because math.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
Though, man. I just canceled for the first time. I've had Prime for like 3 years, and I just canceled it like 3 weeks ago.
I have the Primes because I needed a third channel on my television.
You know, the thing is shipping, yeah, but I haven't really been buying anything online lately, and I wasn't really using their streaming service for much outside of honestly just watching Batman the Animated Series. That was really kind of what I was using it for.
That's worth $100 a year, anyways.
Calvin Sist, who occasionally, my buddy I play PC games with, occasionally pops in during comments on the show, said that you get 3 games for free until alpha is over, so better sign up now. Cal, I don't know if you can update me in here, so because I'm not familiar with how they're distributing some of the games. So you just get 3 free games. Are you choosing from a list of games, or?
Well, I've just linked my account, so I can tell you.
There you go. Never mind.
So
Charlie.
I'm going to attempt to screen share here. Now, screen sharing has been the death of my stream a couple times recently. I don't know.
Maybe you shouldn't do that, given personal information.
All right. No, I don't know. There's nothing personal on here. I'm looking at the page.
I was waiting for it to be like, boom, here's where I live, my social security number, my blood count. And Charlie's like, everybody, check it out.
Yeah, I appreciate you looking out, Goat, but no, I think we're good here. But no, so here, hopefully,
Calvin suggests minimizing the porn before you screen share.
Oh, fine.
No, don't do
okay,
that.
So I just linked my account, and here's what I'm looking at here. So on the side of the screen here, I can so under free with Prime, I've got 4 things listed currently. So I've got the newest hero, Tyrande Whisperwind, Priestess of Elune for Hearthstone. Um, some 24 pieces of Prime exclusive gear for Streamline, whatever that is. Exclusive Twitch boss Ymir skin for Smite, and Bomb King weapon skin for Paladins. Those are apparently the current Prime
Hmm.
free Prime benefits here.
Oh, for
And
PC, it
so
looks like.
yeah,
So
uh,
no
y-
benefits.
yeah, oh yeah, well yeah. So currently nothing console related. It's all PC.
Calvin says that that the 3 games that you get for free up until alpha is Breakaway, New World, and Crucible. So I mean, you're gonna get more than just the one game that you would normally be
Maybe you
allotted.
should go to games.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I'm gonna let's see. I went off my screen here for a second. I'm gonna go back and see.
You just said you're gonna go black, and
Claim your
once you go
free
black,
loot.
you never go back, right, Charlie? Or at
Yeah,
least
so
that's
that's I said I was gonna
the
go
theory.
back, John.
Nope.
Yeah, so
There's
Listen to it in playback. I heard
free
what I
loot.
heard.
yeah, okay. Yeah, no, free loot is where I just was.
Browse games.
Browse games. Start saving with your exclusive member pricing on Amazon. So that's where you get your discount. And again, that is a benefit that has existed for Prime members now for a couple months. We've talked about it
Maybe-
before. And then the free channel subscriptions. So yeah, I don't, John. I
I
don't know.
just-
I don't see where to find those games that that your friend is talking about here. Um,
It's okay, Charlie. I'm trying to scroll through your computer screen because it's on my phone. Not working well. Not working well at all.
He
Yeah.
says to get on Steam, so they're Steam vouchers.
Oh well, nobody cares about Steam.
That's absolutely not fucking true. Just because you guys are a couple of old people that don't play on fucking Steam,
John, when I say nobody, I mean me, and that's all that matters to me. So nobody cares about Steam.
that's the goat logic right there. I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah, that was everything for the news roundup for the week. You know, little like I said, a little less dour than the last few weeks of.
I don't know. Last week
people
was
just
pretty
getting
happy.
Fucking pissy.
Anywho.
I think last week was our happiest news story ever.
Oh, never mind. Cal clarified something. So
Okay.
he told me to get on he told me to
You.
get on Steam so that he can send me the link which I'm already signed into Steam. I've just got my there you go, Cal. I'm live. So send me the link and he's gonna send me the link on how to get those games. So,
Okay.
'cause he can't send it through chat. There you go. What a fucking man.
PC
So,
Master
anyways,
Racers.
so those those are our news stories for the week, correct?
That's it, brother. We're all done and ready to roll with the
What I heard.
news.
Ready to roll with the feature, you mean?
That's right. I'm saying we're ready, we're done with the news.
Oh, we're
So
done
the
with
news.
it.
So what you're saying is we're done with the news, and we're moving
Yes.
on to the next section, which will be the feature, which would start like I don't know, like right about now after the news.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. Correct.
So this week's feature was what, Charlie? Because I'm kind of
So,
I'm out of the office.
That's so okay. So in our last episode, which to be clear was 2 weeks ago, I came up with a silly idea, and that silly idea was a conspiracy theory that developers may be intentionally not making their PC ports of console games perfect with the intention of getting people over to console to play those games because piracy is harder on console. It was something that if you listen to the episode, you remember when it came up.
Yeah.
But to be clear, it was not something I actually thought was happening. It was just a silly idea.
Yeah.
But so we asked this question for a mailbag question for the week, and we'll get to your responses later. And we realized, well, this is actually a as crazy of a conspiracy theory as any, I suppose. And so we decided that we were going to dig up and take a look at some of the some video game related conspiracy theories that have happened. And so John, I believe, has some gems for us to go over.
I do. So
Well, let's get our hats on first, fellas. We
that's
gotta do this right.
Tinfoil hat. You know, we should have fucking made tinfoil
We should
hats
have
to wear on
made
the show.
tinfoil hats, darn it.
Motherfucker.
I'm wearing mine.
This show sucks. I'm
Luckily, I don't have any
unsubscribing.
video feed.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different video game conspiracies, and when researching this story, I ran the gamut from fan theories, conspiracy theories, kind of like industry wide accepted theories, and then just weird theories inside of games. You know, shit like Squall from Final Fantasy VIII kind of dies, and there's a whole breakdown of why he died, but it's not necessarily a theory outside of Final Fantasy fans just fucking digging into the shit like they do. So I tried to select things that were a little bit more like sort of widely understood theories, and some of them have been debunked over time. Like one of them was it used to be that the Atari cartridges being buried in the desert was a theory. Well, recently, you know, it was proven and they were unearthed, and there was a whole documentary about it. So that's not really a theory or a conspiracy theory anymore. That was conspiracy fucking fact.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a documentary. That's not
yeah,
a
it is totally.
theory.
Well, yeah, exactly. But for a while, it was like kind of a
Oh
hush
yeah.
hush. Did this actually happen thing for a long time?
Hmm.
Probably the most prominent video game conspiracy theory that you hear people talk about is the Madden curse. Are you guys familiar with the Madden curse?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, so the idea behind the Madden curse is that whatever fucking player ends up on the cover for Madden this year, next year is going to suffer some kind of an injury, or they're just going to perform like total shit. You know, their renaissance is over after they've been on the cover of Madden. The thing is that there's been an alarming number of players in a fairly lengthy list that have succumbed to this Madden like conspiracy theory. To give you an example, the 23 cover players since 1999 had a total of 110 Pro Bowl appearances prior to their Madden cover appearances, compared to just 25 Pro Bowl appearances afterwards. Um, and they range from here are the list of victims: Garrison Hurst, Barry Sanders, and Dorsey Levens, Eddie George, Dante Culpepper, Marshall Falk, Michael Vick, Ray Lewis, Donovan McNabb, Sean Alexander, Vince Young, Brett Favre, um, Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Peyton Hills, Adrian Peterson, Richard Sherman. I mean, and it's everything from like broken limbs to playing like such shit that they just get basically swept under the rug, you know, after they've made their appearance. I mean, you even see this in like UFC games. There's kind of this curse, this conspiracy theory curse. Ronda Rousey and what's his name, the fucking dude that got everybody's got getting their ass kicked. That was on the UFC cover this year. I can't remember his name. I don't follow UFC, so sorry if
Yeah,
you guys
me
follow
either.
that. I don't fucking care about that shit. Um, but anyways, this is probably one of the more popular conspiracy theories in gaming. Any merit to this concept, guys? You think that this is enough people have suffered this that it's a conspiracy theory, or is it a fucking curse?
Why not both? Why not Zoidberg?
Why not Zoidberg indeed?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like it's the number of times where this has happened. It can't, you know, it's worth noting. So I don't know. It's one of those random things.
Mm-mm.
See, I'm not going to call it conspiracy theory until I curse until people actively deny being on the cover. Like, oh no no no, I don't want that.
Darcy in the chat section says blowing on cartridges fucking works. I don't know what people. I don't care what people say. And she corrected me. It was Conor McGregor on the UFC cover.
Okay.
And it was
No,
the
oh,
opposite side. Cal still uses his boot disc on Dreamcast. Madman, crazy person.
wow.
So that's one conspiracy theory. Let's go ahead and move on to another one. Are you guys familiar with Polybius?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching or listening that don't know what Polybius is, it was even parodied in an episode of The Simpsons. Um, Possibly the most alluring of all video game urban legends is the story of Polybius, an arcade cabinet apparently built by the U.S. military or perhaps the CIA in 1981. Story has circulated online since the mid to late 90s, and curiously, unlike most myths, its details have not been embellished in the 2 decades since. According to the earliest accounts of the story, only 2 Polybius machines were ever built. To be clear, these are upright arcade cabinet machines, um, and were installed at separate arcades across Portland, Oregon. Those who played the game apparently experienced headaches, nausea, and nightmares, while in some accounts of this story, such side effects were followed by suicidal thoughts. Agents dressed in black were said to have frequented the arcades in Portland, apparently to download data stored on each cabinet. Months after they were installed, the legend goes both machines disappeared. Origin of the story remains a mystery, but one theory is that it's a cocktail of different truths mixed together to create a far more interesting tale. There were local reports at the FBI at the time of FBI agents visiting arcades, though this was apparently due to an investigation into illegal gambling rings. In the early 80s, when the old arcade business was in rude health, it was not unheard of that some customers would frequent arcade machines and stay for hours trying to bathe themselves in the fame of high scores. Naturally, doing this for extended periods would make some players sick. No one has come forward to say they have played Polybius, yet the tale has lingered, even appearing on an episode of The Simpsons, as we discussed. This was originally, called from GameSpot. Just so you guys know where the source was. Rob Crossley wrote this article back in 2015. So kind of interesting. Any truth to this concept, or you think this is a bunch of bullshit?
I've heard of Stranger Things. I mean, like, I don't know, like this kind of just seems just plausible enough to be the kind of thing that the government may have tried back in the 80s. I don't know.
No,
What do you think?
no. When they said they downloaded something off of a PC board, I don't think that's a
Hmm.
possibility.
Oh, sure,
In
that's not that.
1981, when you got a guy rolling in with a tape machine.
I mean the same way that you'd program a PC board, I'm sure you could read it the same way.
Yeah, but like, I don't think with the technology there to even like transport that out without picking up the actual machine and leaving the building with it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking 81, so like tape, the Commodores were just coming out, and those things were the size of small refrigerators. I'm pretty sure you noticed. Well, a couple dudes in black suits and
yeah,
a Commodore, and six
that
batteries,
that's fair.
and a
That's fair.
robot pushing it to go download the information. I think people remember that. No, I think this is just lore from the time period because we were still in the Cold War then, and everybody was all the government's against us and blah blah blah. Then I mean they're back to it now, but I mean that's for different reasons. So you know, and put in time and whatever, and the fact that there's no way to really document every single second of the day like there is now. I mean, I think it's just you know the story that got out of control from Portland to put Portland on the map.
Mm. Indubitably. Personally, if Polybius does exist, I would like to play it so that I could be nauseous and have nightmares,
Yeah,
and feel disgusting. Just to say I played the fucking game. Of
isn't
course,
that
I have a feeling that if you play the game, what happens is it just transforms into that fucking death machine from Kung Fury, and then
mhm.
drags you into the fucking CIA headquarters where they black bag you and lock you in a hole forever and ever. So if one day I say I played Polybius and you never hear from me again,
John? That sounds like parenting, just with a little more action.
oh God, I had a week with my son, man. I've never seen a human being poop more than that kid. Fucking Christ,
There's
literally,
your
like
nausea.
probably 36 shitty diapers in the last 4 days. I don't even know. I can't talk about it. It makes me tired. So let's move on to something a little less conspiracy and a little bit more maybe
Theory.
presumptive,
Ooh.
presumptuous. The idea from years, I've heard this off and on in various publications over the years, that Super Mario Brothers 3 is not actually a video game. This is like a meta concept that, based on the moment where you see the curtains open and it's on a stage, so it takes place. A lot of people said that it's not supposed to be a game at all. It's actually a play. It's a theatrical play being put on by the characters, in the Nintendo games. And so people, have you guys heard this? Are you familiar with this concept?
Yeah. Oh, I'm really familiar with it.
Okay. Well, this was a theory for a long time that people talked about forever and ever and ever. And Miyamoto himself kind of ended up coming out and saying that all of these things point to the fact that it's a stage play, but no actual confirmation for sure. He was very vague about it, so it's kind of a confusing, like, what do you fucking believe? Because I don't know, man. Like, is it a play? Isn't it a play? What do you guys think?
Well, so this was sort of confirmed by him, actually. So back on September 10th, 2015, on Nintendo's UK Twitter account, Miyamoto was addressing a handful of Mario myths, and
Mhm.
somebody asked the question, was Super Mario Brothers 3 all just a performance? And he responded simply, yes.
Hmm.
So that has more or less been confirmed,
Been confirmed. Okay.
nonetheless, I mean, like, the conspiracy theories we're talking about here, they'll need to be ones that haven't been answered. I mean, like
I like the ones that have been answered.
yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
So like
because then they're not conspiracy theories anymore, and it's just like, yeah, that was fun. We had time. Here's the real answer. Next theory.
yeah, the having all the ET card desert, I think, is an absolutely essential entry in this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's been proven to be true, and like we mentioned, there's been like a documentary about it, and they were being sold on
But that,
eBay and stuff, and so
yeah, but I mean that went on for what 30 years
yeah,
before we
oh
actually
yeah,
got an
It took a
answer.
minute for that one to
So
get
it,
fucking debunked.
yeah, I mean, it earned its place on the list.
So, um, talking about some gaming conspiracy theories that are a little bit more real world and a little bit less just tinfoil hat, I guess, in one way. Do you guys remember the myth about the 4,000 PlayStation 2 units being shipped to Iraq that Saddam Hussein was supposedly going to use the processing power of all these PlayStation 2s to power nuclear weapons was a fucking conspiracy theory during the height of the
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 2's time. Do you guys remember this?
yes, oh yeah.
Yeah, vaguely, but I think it was from somewhere in southern United States is where it came from.
No, this was a pretty widely circulated story when this
I'm
happened. This
just
was
saying, some
on
dude with a
mainstream
gun,
news, man.
pistol, belt buckle, and a pickup truck was like, they're gonna use those PS2s to blow shit up.
Well, to give you guys an idea of how the kind of ebb and flow of it went, and I'm not really citing this from a particular article. This is one of these things that's been. I mean, there's so much of it to choose from, and it was so pretty heavily discussed at the time. There's not really kind of the credit for this. Um, Essentially what happened was is WorldNet Daily at the time was saying that the U.S. Customs and Military Intelligence were tracking a shipment of 4,000 consoles ordered by Saddam Hussein, and then whatever happened behind closed doors, the discussion was is that they were using the processing power, because at the time you got to remember PlayStation 2 was a very fucking powerful unit, for what it was, was being used to build a supercomputer,
Hmm.
that Iraq was going to use for whatever the fuck they were using.
He
This
definitely
this
wouldn't.
also popped up again with the PlayStation 3 too.
Yeah, he
Um,
definitely wouldn't use, I don't know, computer parts to build a supercomputer. I mean, PlayStation is obviously the number one choice I would go with when I'm like, hey,
yes, that
I
was
need
the
to
kind of
build
joke.
something crazy that's
Oh,
gonna take over the world.
a lot of PC
PlayStation.
gamers and PC enthusiasts made a lot of fun of this at the time that it came out. So, any merit to this? Do you think there was any merit in using the supercomputer to kind of build
Oh,
something
there always
nefarious?
is. I'm sure what's his nuts over in North Korea is working on one right now to do whatever the hell he's whatever. But he's
I
probably going to use the Sega Dreamcast.
yeah.
Seems
I find it to be entirely plausible that they thought that they could do this. That the thought crossed their mind that they could,
bungee cord a bunch of them
well,
together and plug them in together.
yeah, just like put them all together in a room and link them together with Ethernet cables, and they would just magically somehow turn into a supercomputer. But I think the consensus, basically, from what I remember when this all happened, that as soon as like people who knew what the hell they were talking about came out and said, no, it doesn't work like that. Even if you have all these processors and all these systems and all this hardware, you still need to write software to get it to make it all work together. And
Hmm.
we don't think anybody over there has anywhere near the skill level to do anything remotely close to this. So that
So they played a lot of Call of Duty.
yeah, that must be it. See, yeah, never mind.
Oh,
What?
wait, what, what,
Uh,
what?
What? What? What?
yeah.
What? What? What?
No. Oh, I don't want to be insensitive, but I mean, again, this is it's just what Goat just said made me think, oh, maybe it was actually just training for their soldiers. But
Maybe who knows, man?
Yeah, why not? I mean, they would use it as a grab for American intelligence, thinking that that's actually how we work.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
yeah.
America does
But
the same thing, Charlie.
yeah. So coming back to I've got a couple here. So coming back to ones that are more urban legend than conspiracy theory, but I mean, really, is there that much difference? So there's an interesting thing about Fallout 3. Um, there's throughout the game, players pick up radio signals in the wasteland. If you guys have played the game, you know,
Mm.
former Washington D.C. The function of the radio serves as a mean of broadcasting old pop songs, updating missions, and generally working to build a fuller game world. The device also apparently predicts the future. Occasionally, a series of numbers which sound like Morse code will be broadcast throughout your Pip-Boy. The story goes that the code translated predicted the Deepwater Horizon oil rig disaster right down to the day and hour. So just one of those.
Interesting.
I mean, like obviously it's not true. Like the people of Bethesda are not fortune tellers, but it's an interesting note that this is the kind of thing that people notice and like start to talk about. Another one, of course, and I think
See,
this is yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
the 1550 people I'm impressed with. The people who played enough to figure out the Morse code in the game need to buy a different game. You're officially done playing that game at that point.
Yeah,
You've done it all.
I can
Might be
I
right
can
about that.
I can near proudly say that I did not take the time to decipher the Morse code coming over the pip. Um, the other one, again, this is more urban legend than conspiracy theory, but I mean, really, what's the difference? The is probably about one of the most popular urban legends that truly is verifiably not true is the nude code that has supposedly been in every single Lara Croft game, I think.
I
Nope.
remember this. Yeah.
And
Um,
Sims game.
well, that's something different.
Yeah.
All the way back from the first Tomb Raider, rumors began circulating that there was a code that you could punch in to
Why?
make Lara Croft naked. For
Why?
I don't know why
Why
you'd
would
want to I don't know why you'd want to watch a stack of Legos run around in
with
flesh.
triangle boobs?
Yeah, exactly. And so just given the time and the audience and everything, you can sort of imagine what the very notion of this idea would do to all the prepubescent boys like playing Lara Croft back in the day. But of course, it turned out to be fake. But even to this day, if you go over to like 4chan and like just search for Lara Croft nude, you're going to find one of two things. You're going to find people who are still trying to see if there is one, and B, people who have come up with patches for the game to make her nude
Mm-hmm.
because that's apparently interesting to some people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is like Goat said, this is triangle boob, like like not at all anatomically realistic Lara. So
No, not good. Not good.
cool, that's cool, I guess. And then
But I mean, if you do put it in perspective, that would be when we were pubescent children. And we were really working with like scrambled porn, so anything was something for us.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, Goat.
Apparently, you guys got out and actually talked to women. So screw both of you. Moving on.
Oh, that's so
Next
good.
topic.
Moving on. So I've got two more quick ones here. Are you guys familiar with the Lost Kill Switch video?
vaguely.
Okay, this is a game that was this is an article that was also written by Rob Crossley from GameSpot. So the idea is, according to legend, the Carvina Corporation developed a game named Kill Switch back in 1989. No more than 5,000 copies of this game were produced, and each version would self-delete once completed. So it meant that the market value of a working version soared as each copy deleted itself, to the extent that in 2005, a mint condition version was apparently sold on eBay for $733,000 to a Tokyo resident by the name of Yamamoto Ruichi. Sorry. The story that follows is nearly always told the same. Keen to expose the game to the world, Ruichi set about to publish a Let's Play video. Apparently, a 1 minute and 45-second video clip found its way to YouTube, but the footage only showed Yamamoto slumped at his computer in front of the selection screen with his back to the camera. He does not move, but you hear him crying. Screen goes blank at the end of the video. So the idea is that you can't find the video on YouTube now. It's not listed anymore. It is curious, but a dozen Kill Switch gameplay videos can be found on YouTube. You can look up a handful of them, meaning that either someone has decided to build a game based on the legend, or you're looking at the real thing, one of the two. So that's kind of a creepy
That's
fucking,
kind of awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I wish there
Um,
was more games that delete like all your personal information, like just wiped your hard drive when they were done. Be-
mm,
That'd be
mm,
nice.
yeah, maybe so. The last of these, I want to make something clear before I discuss this one. I'm only discussing this because it's apparently something that actually happened. And I don't know if this is conspiracy theory so much as somebody built something without really looking at it and putting it into the game. And years and years later, when people could take games apart and look at them, people find all kinds of weird shit. Well, in this particular instance, apparently back in the original Legend of Zelda, um, one of the level designers or whoever the level designers were at the time built, you know how the maps scroll side to side, up to down, top to bottom, various directions.
Sure.
Supposedly purely based on fucking coincidence, one of the dungeon designs, when you pull the fucking sprites out and lay them flat on a table, it's a fucking swastika. It's fucking terrible. Nintendo's, as it is just purely fucking accident. An accident. I'll screen share to show you what the pulled out map looks like. And again, before I
I
screen
got you,
share
John.
this, you got me. I, I Gamerhead Radio does not condone any sort of Nazism at all. No, none of us. We're good, upstanding dudes. This is just to discuss for the fucking,
That's not right, anyways.
Okay,
yeah.
so hang on. So there's something important that people need to understand about this is that there are the Nazi swastika goes the opposite direction of this.
Yes.
Yep.
The symbol that they use as a reversed, a perverted symbol of something that's actually been around for, I think it was a Hindu thing, right?
Yeah, I believe
A
so.
symbol
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like peace and prosperity and something like
Yes.
that. And this is going the direction of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The
so
one that's also doubled up in the middle, and yeah,
right.
it's whatever. It's a fucking bunch of panels put together that happen to look like a swastika, so people go freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's kind of an urban legend type thing, conspiracy theory type thing. Nintendo doesn't do shit like that, man. That's a fucking total
No.
conspiracy theory. They're good
But
people over there.
I've got one more that I think is one of
Calvin
the
corrected us and said that is a Buddhist. The
Buddhist.
original
Okay,
the perversion of the swastika was a Buddhist symbol.
thank you,
So
Calvin.
thank you, Cal.
So I've got one more here, and this I think to me is the most interesting of all the ones we've talked about here, and this has to do with Lavender Town in Pokemon. Surely you guys have heard about this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
John, have you heard about this one?
Yes.
About
Yes,
the
I have.
Lavender Town suicide spike?
Yes, I have.
So back
Ridiculous.
in back in 1996, Pokemon Red and Green was slotted in nearly everyone's Game Boy around the world. Is that right? Red and Green? I'm reading an article off of complex.com, and I don't think that's right. Red and blue, right?
No, red and green.
Red
Fire
and green.
red, leaf green.
Oh, okay. Fire red and leaf green. Got it. Okay, so ironically enough, the Japanese weren't part of that statistic. When the game first dropped in Japan, it was supposedly linked to a massive spike in child suicides and illness. The children from the ages of 7 to 12 were either falling sick or taking their own lives outright. The most bizarre thing about the incident was that the children did not fall ill or commit suicide until they reached Lavender Town. Playing this version of Pokemon. Many think the town's score was the cause of the ailments. The music of this level in Lavender Town it's very
Creepy.
it's very creepy. Is really the right word for it. The town specific music caused nausea and eventually suicidal tendencies in children, reportedly. The music was eventually changed before it was shipped abroad over here to the US. The above YouTube, and then there's a YouTube clip here, which is the original score, which I don't currently have a way to share into
No.
the stream, which of course I don't want to do just because I don't want any of our listeners or watchers to fall ill. But yeah, so this is one of those things where it's like it's one of those things where it's half urban legend, half conspiracy theory, but yet apparently really happened. So it's like I don't know.
Makes sense.
So go. You give credence to the idea
Well, you
that
think about it, like there's you listen to certain music when you're in certain moods. If you're forced, like you say, you're in Lavender Town for like 10 hours and you're trying to get everything done there, and you're like a completionist, you're gonna listen to that same music unknowingly because you just leave your volume on for 10 hours. It's gonna change your mood.
and you think that this music is I don't know of a nature where it could affect somebody that much?
But music affects everybody. Just yeah,
I mean, okay, given fair. I mean,
yeah.
music.
But I'm saying, and even prolonged. But I'm saying like at this point, it's like prolonged subconscious exposure to it. So I mean, it's indubitably going to affect you.
Now, so just out of curiosity, do you recall from your playthrough of this game, was there enough to do in Lavender Town that would cause you to be in there for a long time?
No, but it's Pokemon, so you can be anywhere as long as you want to be.
Okay, well, okay, fair. Um, so yeah, for me, that's one of the more interesting ones, just because it's it's like one part conspiracy theory, one part urban legend, one part ghost story kind of a thing. So
Well, and one
um,
part factual science.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed our roundup of some of the more interesting conspiracy theories, and we branched out into urban legends and ghost stories and just weird coincidences.
All the fun that is video game lore.
Yeah. So yeah, and so with that, we'll move on to our mailbag. While I get those responses pulled up here.
I've got some ready to go.
Awesome,
You
John,
guys
go
want to
for
roll?
it.
So,
Look
again,
at you.
the mailbag question this week was: do you think PC ports of games might be intentionally buggy in order to get gamers over to consoles where piracy is more difficult? Um, so, I mean, yeah, when we brought this question up, I don't know that we articulated it very well when we talked about it 2 weeks ago on the show. But the idea was, as Charlie explained, just for fucking shits and giggles. There's no like,
Oh,
we
but
The
would.
John,
mailbag.
to be clear, I purposefully did not like. I wanted people to respond to this question just as was. Like I didn't want to
Sure,
preposition
sure.
it by saying like this is just a joke or this isn't serious or whatever. I wanted to see how
Yeah.
people really responded to this.
A few
And you
people,
Charlie
I
guys,
has
you
think,
guys did not disappoint in your answers.
Charlie has baited our audience well.
it's true. It worked out really well. It's funny. So Josh Wright says piracy happens just as much as on console. It's a misconception that it's worse on PC. I don't think any company wants their games to be bugged either, but with greater hardware diversity comes more potential for issues. Um, I do think, though, Josh, statistically, I'm almost certain that it is harder to pirate a game on consoles at this point, unless you
Yeah,
keep
I
that
would.
console
Yeah.
unplugged. Um, Phoenix Fire says, I think it's harder to code a game for such a largely varied system as a PC. There's one Xbox and one PS4 and 5 billion different PCs. If they were driving people over, uniformity would likely be a more realistic reason than piracy. Jacob Lipman follows that up by saying this in response to Phoenix's statement. It's way easier to optimize for a console with relatively few hardware differences. Sure, over the course of production, there might be half a dozen or so variants, but there are at least thousands of common PC configurations and millions of possible permutations. Which is, I don't disagree with that. Garrus Redfield, who is in the chat currently right now, you guys know him in the chat as Dustin Falconer. Responded by saying, I wouldn't put it past the companies to do that with the right software. It wouldn't matter. Dave McAllister says the issue is that games are coded for a standard console and not prioritized for PC. You don't see the same buggy releases for titles that are primarily PC based later. PC based that later go to console. Older example, but PlanetSide was intentionally on PC and later brought to console without having those issues. That is very true, Dave, because I'm a huge PlanetSide fan, or was of the original game, and that was a pretty smooth port. Dylan Stewart says, I struggle to comprehend this concept because the most games I see cross-platform releases regardless. The only logical explanation I could see supporting this theory is that console manufacturers, Sony and Microsoft, etc., use the leverage that comes from having a static set of system requirements to pressure developers to release games faster, resulting in unfinished products being shoved out for PC, which is something that I think has some merit. Dave Foster says, how would this even make sense considering that many console versions also ship with bugs, including but not limited to every Bethesda game ever, Assassin's Creed 3, No Man's Sky, Red Dead Redemption, etc.? This seems like a conspiracy theory, but I'm not willing to totally discredit it yet. You would be correct, Dave. That's intentionally why the mailbag was worded this way, because it's a conspiracy theory show. And then I'm going to save the last response, what I thought was my best response for last. One-time B Squad co-host and friend Ricky Keller, who works in the world of development and is a very pragmatic soul. I loved his answer. It just says, No. Not even a fucking period, just no.
Yeah.
So that's all I had.
Well
Yeah,
done.
just to respond to that first comment, I am looking right now, and I believe I'm confirming that there is currently not yet a way to play pirated games on either the PS4 or the Xbox One, from what I can find right now.
Okay.
So
Wow, that's interesting.
and yeah, but props to them, I guess, because that's a hell of a accomplishment to keep the modders at
Mhm.
bay for so long. Now it's possible the what I'm finding is not something that can be easily found on Google, but I'm currently not having any luck finding anything.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
just I'm still waiting for the year when modders find out that when you tamper with something that you have to mod it, it automatically just erases and doesn't power back up and turns into a brick.
Yeah, yeah. It
Just waiting
looks
for that
like
to be in there.
it looks like back in April of this year, that somebody came out with a jailbreak for the PS4 that allowed you to run Linux on it if you had an old version of the firmware 1.76 or below,
Mhm.
and but no mention of running pirated games. So yeah,
Because
yeah.
Linux
So
is what I want.
yeah, well, so, yeah. I can't explain it. So we have some more comments here. So on our Facebook page, um, Danny Meckler responds and he says, games run well on consoles because and this is something that was echoed by several people, and you're all correct. Games run well on consoles because you only have to playtest games on two consoles usually. If X plays well and P plays well, then Xbox and PlayStation, I'm assuming he's referring to, then ship it. There's few differences between models of each console. Maybe sometimes it gets a new chipset or a different manufacturer of hardware, but more or less two versions. Now think of the many thousands of combinations of hardware there are to create a computer, multiple operating systems, tons of different manufacturers, probably millions of differences. Currently, there are, for example, 397,535 different results for graphics card on Amazon. Try coding for that
Jesus
many
Christ.
hardware setups. Yeah, that no,
Woof.
I imagine that number is inflated by the same card being sold by different people, but still, it's a lot. He's not wrong. So no, I completely disagree with this concept. It's not intentionally buggy at all. It's just far easier to make the game run on product X and product P. Each time one of these game-breaking bugs is discovered, it's on a small portion of machines with very specific hardware. Skinless Assassin's Creed, for example, was like 1% of gamers who experienced it. But the internet blew up the problem, made it seem like anyone who bought the game would have those issues, which I did point out is kind of basically what I said when we were talking about this initially. Yes, hardware issues are by far, I'm sure, the biggest and possible hardware configurations and combinations are by far the biggest reason of these issues. Didn't make the question any less fun to ask, though. But Amanda Hall says, first of all, she lamented that she thought she saw the mailbag question late, but she did not. And so then she said, then my reply is basically, it depends on the game company. Most companies demand you have a controller regardless, which is kind of messed up. Might as well just buy it for console. There's very few games nowadays that are legit built for PC, and honestly, I feel like if it's not built for PC, don't even release it there. Like Devil May Cry or Assassin's Creed, they just don't make sense on PC. I can see that viewpoint. Robert Garrett did confirm that they did in fact do that for Smile Party 8 Death to the Infidels. So
Okay.
at least we have one example of this happening in real life. By the way, this is a made up game by a made up person. And then Brian Lesser says, today on Tinfoil Head Radio, which, by the way, Brian, I do have to say, it was that exact comment at that moment where we just needed to talk about conspiracy theories in general for this show. So thank you for assisting in the topic decision. All joking aside, no, some developers are just that incompetent with making a PC port. That incompetence, sadly, falls on us as consumers. We all saw with Arkham Knight, and I've also seen it with Mortal Kombat. John, I'm sorry, I forget. Is it 10 or X? How do I pronounce that?
Both.
Either doesn't matter. Okay,
Both.
Mortal Kombat 10X. I'll say that, which is finally getting the season 2 content months after the game, after the console version had it.
It's X. It's
Is
Mortal
it
Kombat
X?
X,
Okay,
yeah.
Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah.
As
It's
well
also 10.
as as well as Street Fighter 5, who thought it would be a good idea to make an anti-cheat driver out of code found in many rootkits. That's yeah. I don't even think we covered that. That was dumb.
Which one?
So they put out an update to Street Fighter 5, which included anti-cheating mechanism, but the way that they did this was by installing a driver on your computer. This is a PC specific thing, by the way. And that the driver was, I didn't look into really get into the technical details of what this thing did, but it basically was some sort of anti-cheating mechanism. However, the driver was so poorly written, and that it basically opened a giant gaping hole into allowing other people to run code on your computer, and just allowing your computer to be hacked by basically anybody who knew about this vulnerability. It installed itself with basically full administrative permissions to the kernel, and so basically it could do whatever the heck it wanted to your computer if somebody knew about this vulnerability and took advantage of this driver to do stuff. It was a horrible idea, horribly executed. Yeah, and Brian continues, I now feel bad for the guy that made that anti-cheat driver, as his computer is probably now probably very, very well so. Replies over in the Players Club. Mitch Tayo says, like any conspiracy theory, the actual execution of that would be much less plausible than the simpler rationale, the fact that all PCs all use different hardware combinations and consoles are much more standardized. I'm sure that any PC port, there's a certain hardware configuration, probably matching the devs' test PCs, that works beautifully. Actually, yeah, that makes some sense. I wonder if that would. Yeah, they should just do that. They should just say, like, this is like the
gaming standard.
Yeah, this is the perfect combination of hardware that we tested this on, and we validated this exact specific combination of hardware. Hell, even like make Dell pay for the sponsorship or whatever.
If you want it to play like we played it, get this.
Yeah. Dane and Bew says, it's a good one, though. As a software developer, I'll have to remember that. It makes us look much more competent. So, sure. Brian Collins says, can't they offer free updates to those who have a pirated copy? So positing that maybe the pirated copy, the piracy angle was the correct angle for this. You're saying, wouldn't it be easier to just have it so that with those with a pirated copy, made it so that anytime you did something successful in the game, you just blow up? They basically did that with Grand Theft Auto several years ago, and it was pretty successful and pretty fun to watch. Yes, there have been many games that have. Well,
you have the no-fly Batman.
Yeah, the no-fly Batman. There's been a couple others too that have had fun with pirators, which I think is hilarious. And I say that as a former pirater. I'm mildly ashamed to say, but not the former. I'm happy to say I'm former.
And everybody in the early days of the internet, I think it should be fair to be said that in the early days of the internet, we did not truly understand the responsibilities of the awesome power at our fingertips, and everybody did some shitty pirating early in the fucking early days. Mm-hmm. That's the way I see it.
Still on that island.
Yeah.
And Daryl Moore says, as a long-time plan that most studios cannot afford to tailor towards. I do think, however, that PC ports aren't given as much attention as our console counterparts. I think that is very, very likely. Yeah. So do you guys have any other responses?
No, that's everything I had for this week.
Okay, cool. And then we don't have any emails this week, so Songbird, we miss you. But yeah, so that's everything for this week. So gentlemen, was there anything that came up in this episode that you think would make a worthwhile mailbag topic? Or
I have an idea for a mailbag topic for us for the coming week, which I think would also make an interesting feature. The mailbag doesn't necessarily tie directly into the idea for the feature, but they kind of lead to each other. We were talking about pirated games. I kind of would not mind asking people if they've ever pirated a game, in their time playing video games, and if they did, what that game was. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, my knee-jerk reaction to that is I'm not sure that many people would be willing to incriminate themselves. But so instead of that, so John, before you joined the show, quite some time ago, we actually had a feature where we had a reformed pirate on the show. Hint, it was actually me. So I basically came on and I talked about how I actually used to be a pretty regular pirater of video
You've
games,
talked about
and
it a couple times while I've been on. That you used
yeah,
to have quite a collection of
You used to meet
pirated
people in
copies.
back alleys and brown bags, and it was a bad thing. We had to drag them out. It was just bad
virtually.
time. Like,
If the alleys were websites and the brown bags were torrents, yes, that's accurate. Um, but it's been a minute, and we could certainly revisit that again in some fashion.
I
Um,
wouldn't mind doing that coming up, but I think a lot of that depends on Goat. Are you going to be able to join us next week or no?
where the fuck am I next week?
I know you never ask a guy on the road where they're going to be
Hold
in a
on.
week.
Let me check my records.
Well, the reason I ask is because I would certainly like to revisit that topic for sure, because I didn't get to participate in it when you did it
What
originally,
is?
and I think that would be fun. The idea that I had as an alternative topic, which again is something I kind of want Goat to be around for, because I feel like this would be a really fun show.
okay.
Um, I wouldn't mind talking about, if we've never talked about it on the show, or if you think it's been long enough before I was on. Um, there is a pretty comprehensive list of video games for various platforms that never saw release or release past beta. And I would kind of like to talk about, I think that would be a really fascinating topic to
Abandoned
highlight.
video games.
Yeah, abandoned video games that were never released, but that some people got to play. I've played a bunch of video games that did not see release. So I have some like hands-on experience with that. And I also think it would be fascinating to kind of showcase some cool games that never saw release, which I think as an alternative mailbag topic could be, about video games that maybe didn't get released that people wanted to be released, or some way to tie that into mailbag.
So is there a game that you were ever really looking forward to that you were really disappointed was canceled?
That got canceled. Yeah, I think that's a. What do you think, Goat?
Sorry, I was counting days.
What do you think of that
Think.
for a mailbag topic?
Okay. Well, I think I'll either be in Pennsylvania or New York.
Yeah. Well, just keep us posted.
Yeah, obviously. I was just trying to keep. What was the thing now? Sorry, I was completely tuned out.
Charlie, you worded it better than it was coming out.
So the idea is for the mailbag question is was there ever a game that you were really looking forward to that got canceled?
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What question is that?
Goat, you are going to be in Rochester, New York.
Am I? Ooh, that's me right before 3 days of Canada.
That's
we'll
correct.
See. We'll see.
Okay.
And we'll.
So you'll be an hour ahead of us at that time. So that to me does not sound like it bodes well for you being on the show.
That would put us at 8:30. We've been going on typically at 11. Yeah, we might have to move and shake some
Okay.
time.
Well,
So
the question becomes: do we save that for another time? Because that's kind of a fun topic.
I would like all three heads
I'd
to be
say that.
on for that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, God, I don't know. Okay, so we don't know. We have not yet decided, and
why don't we finish up mailbag and then drop it into the edit afterwards, so that we don't keep the viewers.
Mailbag's done. Mailbag's done.
You know what? I don't care about the viewers. They can watch us ramble all they want. It's fine. They're here. I hope.
Do you guys? That's so random. My Amazon Echo in the other room apparently just heard me ask a question. It heard me say Alexa apparently.
Wow, that's been drinking.
Video game conspiracy theory right there.
Alexa's going to eat your soul.
There you go. That's it.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the chat room, guys. People who are still watching the show. If you guys have any ideas for a good mailbag question for next week,
throw them at us because we are pathetic, and I am on the road. Mostly, I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Because we have a good one, but I'd like to hold that off, given weirdness of life.
Yes. Okay, we don't know. I don't think we're gonna come up with it right now. So we'll give it some thought, and we'll post a mailbag on social media. And so keep an eye there.
Look at the normal places; it'll be there.
Yeah.
Right, Charlie? Right? It'll be there.
Yes. Especially in the case where it wasn't on the show, I will make a concerted effort to make sure it gets posted.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being said, Goat, is there anything unusual that you would like to let people know about, other than the fact that obviously you're on tour?
I'll be in Chicago Tuesday for about 12 hours, and then we head east.
At the Concord Music Hall, I see.
Yes, good room. It's a good room. If you got free time, I know it's Tuesday night. It's kind of weird, but I mean, if you want to go on nostalgia with Photo Greater Flaw and Dope, the Congress, so the Concord is a far better venue than the Congress, and well worth coming out to.
Excellent.
Looks like tickets are still available for $18, and yeah. So if you want to go see Goat and some bands
And
that are
if you're not, look at
pretty
our
good,
tour
you
dates
should be
and
there.
check up later. I'm heading east, so anything from Chicago east in the next couple weeks.
Yep,
Excellent.
yep. So yeah, John, how about you?
You know what? My vacation wraps up at the end of this weekend. I'm off, through tomorrow, and then it's kind of back to the soul crushing day job that I loathe,
Ah,
and don't talk about ever because I hate it so much.
ah,
But after that, the I mentioned earlier that we were moving my brother's studio, and the Via Surveillance studio is being completely moved. There's a whole bunch of rejiggering happening, in Via Surveillance world. I mean, some of the things were from shakeups we've talked about in the last couple months. I mean, there are some huge overhaul plans coming, some long needed overhaul plans. But those that are watching and listening to the show that are Via Surveillance fans, I had a conversation with my brother today for about a half an hour about some of the big plans that we have to wrap up recording on Murder in the Art. I swear to God, it's almost done. We just have had maybe Nick and I have talked about shooting a documentary to break down the fucking speed bumps of the recording process of this record and why it's been so hard. And no, it was not because of Metal Gear entirely.
Entirely, yeah.
Entirely.
50%.
Um, I'd say 20%. The remaining
That's
80% was the most insane stream of shit happens I could possibly fathom to explain. But it's almost done. We made some investments, where guitar recording is concerned, because really, with the exception of some fine tuning, um, a little bit of um, a little bit of vocal work that Nick wants to finish up and that I need to do, and then tracking the guitars, of which only about 20% of the record has guitars tracked on it. It's like 90% of the way done. I'm going to say this record is 90% finished. Nick's just making a couple of adjustments, maybe writing some last minute songs to swap things in and out. He just wants the pacing and flow of this thing to be right. So it's almost there. That's all I'm going to be working on for now. I don't think we're going to book a Halloween show this year. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive, due to another contract for something non-Via Surveillance related that my brother just signed up for. He's going to be working through the month of October, so I think that's going to end up happening in lieu of anything Via Surveillance related. So that's all we're going to be working on is Murder in the Art in the world of Via Surveillance. And then, for me on a personal level, not anything noteworthy. We'll just say that, at least not right now. So that's it on that front.
Okay.
What about you, Charlie?
And in my side of the world, well, Cider Fest is obviously the thing that I've been talking about for months, and well, that's because it's a huge deal. It's very important to me. It's something I'm very proud of, and it's taking up a lot of my time. So, the schedule is completely online, like I said before. We probably won't have anything really to announce, but over the next month, it's just going to be working on on all like the merch and art and like badge art and posters and things and all like the different swag and printable stuff that we're gonna have put in the comic book together and all that fun
Mm-mm.
stuff. So that'll be over like the next week or two, and then there's that like 2 week period like like to get everything ordered without having to pay rush fees. It all has to be like done in like the next week or two, and then so from like then that last 2 week period before con is in like the quiet before the storm. Like all the work is done, all the prep is done, all stuff's ordered, stuff's being delivered, and then you're just in that point now where it's just like, okay, I've done everything that I can do that's going to really make a difference pre-con. We can kind of do some like little planning here and there, but at that point, like the comic book's out to print. Like you don't want to change anything if you can help it. So that I'm sort of looking forward to that little bit of downtime, just being able to relax a little bit, and then before I head up to Milwaukee to have probably about, just because it's so important to me, just because I've learned so much over all these cons that I've done this last year. Like I've between the time that I've had to invest, along with obviously my staff of almost 100 people, the time that we've had to invest into making sure the Cider Fest is as great as possible, the time that I've invested personally into making sure that that into doing everything I can to help with that goal. the guest list we have put together, the musicians we have put together. I mean, like I don't feel bad in saying at all. Like I think that this is really just going to be like the best time that I've had all year, and I'm just really looking forward to it. And then yeah, no, it's going to be great. I mean, so I'm just really excited. So so yeah, and just just a stupid thing that I just want to throw out there, just because it's of relevance to this show. There is a group of guys who go by the team of um, oh shoot, I just lost the name. It was just in my head. Um,
Good shout out.
man, yeah,
Great shout
yeah.
out.
You shut up, goat. Um,
Well, while you're figuring that out, Charlie, I just realized that the same weekend you're going to be at Cider Fest is the same weekend I'm going to be at the Whiskey. So we have that going for us in commonality.
um so yeah, I'm gonna pull up a picture here, and so there's a team that goes by the name of Fire Team Harmony, which is a group of people that have gotten Spartan suits from Halo, have painted them up, and to make them be color schemed like the main six ponies from the show, and they are going to be at Cider Fest. And I'm super excited to meet these guys because they've gone to cons before, and they have like a YouTube channel, and they're just really funny. And so yeah, they like, we didn't know, they just announced that Fire Team Harmony was going to be coming to Cider Fest, and that just made me really 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 happy. So so yeah, I'll see you for the show if I can snag an interview with them, just because it's of relevance. But but yeah. So, anyways, I'll stop babbling now. I'm just excited about Cider Fest. Um, but yeah. So like we said before, just keep an eye on social media to find out what our mailbag / topic is going to be for next week's show. But aside from that, if you've liked what you heard, you can find us at gamerheadradio.com, at facebook.com / gamerheadradio, at google.com / plus gamerheadradio, and on Twitter at gamerheadradio, where also I am at CK Charlie. Goat is at Sir Goatsworth, and John is at the Fallon Flynn. You can email us at editors@gamerheadradio.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 94926-GAMER. You can download the official Gamerhead Radio app if you have an Android device from the Google Play Store, or you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, or with your podcast downloader of choice, and as well as on YouTube, where you can find us broadcasting live here weekly, typically at 8 p.m. Central. But yeah, so with all that being said, thank you very much for watching, listening, subscribing, participating. Thanks for everybody in the chat room. We've had a really great audience in there today. This has been episode 187 of Gamerhead Radio. And lead in.
Lead in. The closest thing I had was something relating to Goat's destiny. Or okay. Okay, here you go. Maybe 3 throughways for you. It could be today on Gamerhead Radio. Tune in to find out how Charlie toots his own beard. John, wait, hold on. Wait.
Horn.
No. Tune in to listen to us discuss John's neckbeard, Charlie tooting his own horn, Goat's destiny, and video game conspiracy theories.
What was the Destiny reference? I'm forgetting that.
We cracked a funny about Goat's destiny. I don't remember what the fuck it was anymore because
it was the Girl Scouts.
Pudding brain. Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember the context at all, but okay, sure. So yeah, so go. You got that. So today on Gamerhead Radio, tune in to find out. Or what was it, John?
Today on Gamerhead Radio, tune in to listen to us talk about John's neckbeard, Charlie tooting his own horn, and Goat's destiny.
The video game conspiracy theories.
And video game conspiracy theories.
That's a lot to remember.
We can do it. You can do it in chunks.
Okay.
Today on Gamerhead Radio. Here, you want me to? Oh, you can't see the fucking chat because you're on your phone. Does it say you want me to type up a script for you?
Well, hold on.
I thought you did have the chat on there.
I just gotta back out. I think.
Not the Hangout, the actual or the in the video chat.
Yeah, I got that. I'm talking to you now, looking at the chat.
All right, I'm gonna type it up for you today on Gamerhead Radio. Listen.
I think it's in this chat though.
Just type the word poke goat. If you can see that, you're in the right place. Otherwise, if you need it in just our normal Hangout
And
chat,
when
John
you
can
get
put
to
it there.
your part where you say Goat's Destiny, you just say "in my destiny." I would imagine.
Really, John? Thanks for piecing it together for me.
Shut up, Goat.
Ooh, 232. A lot to cut there.
Hey, so while John's typing this up, I just want to share something interesting with you guys. So we got one of those a while ago for I think it was like Michelle's birthday or Christmas last year. It was a while ago. We got one of those Soda Stream soda makers with like the the carbonation things.
The thing we had in the 80s, and they just remade it where you make your own personal soda. Yeah.
That was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. So
There you go, Goat.
we got one of the we got one of the bottles that is dishwasher safe because apparently the normal ones aren't, which I think is very weird. But I just noticed something weird on this bottle. This bottle has instructions to not use after December of 2017.
Oh.
When you get time.
Do not use after 12 of 2017. What a weird thing to put on a bottle.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
But Goat, do you are the chat you're looking at? Does it have the John
No.
posted it there?
I'm
Do you see that
right now? Go ahead. There's an image of it so you can scroll it larger, so it's easier to read.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's gonna be in this call. Chat.
I sent it to you.
Oh, there it is. It's showing up now.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Sorry. Apparently, I don't have blistering technology in the middle of the airport.
It's all right. It's all right.
And,
How dare you, sir?
hey, I think we're doing pretty good here with me being on the show in general compared to usual tours.
Yeah, and we didn't have any drop-offs this week, so hooray!
Yeah.
Progress.
Knock on wood.
Verizon does it again. Shooting his own. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Today on Gamerhead Radio.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, I screwed that up bad. All right.
Please.
Today on Gamerhead Radio. Damn it, John. Was that John? It was John, wasn't it?
It was me.
Yeah, see? Yeah. That's actually warranted because I do it to you all the time. All right. Today on Gamerhead Radio. Tune in to listen. Okay. It was just weird, like reading it. I'm like, that doesn't
You sound like
right.
a nervous guy pacing outside the office of an audition.
Like you're preparing for your interview or audition. Or
Yeah. I'm gonna walk into walk in there and just be like, hey, how's it going? All right, here we go. Today on Gamerhead Radio, tune in to listen to us. Why is it so weird to say? To listen to. There's too many twos in there. Tune in and listen to us. No. Tune in to listen to. Is it just me or is does that sound weird? Tune in to listen to. No.
Yeah, we're here.
I think it's good.
Okay, I just thought it's weird, but I don't know, it sounds weird. All right. Today on Gamerhead Radio, tune in to listen to us. See, that's just weird to say. Damn it, I don't know what time it is. All right. Here we go. Today on Gamerhead Radio, tune in to listen to us talk about John's neckbeard, Charlie's tooting his own horn, my destiny, and video game conspiracy theories. Gamerhead Radio starts now.
Hey, we'll call that a winner.
That'll work.
Yeah. I don't know why that tune in to the two twos were screwing me up bad.
I can't imagine, Goat, that you and tutus don't get along.
We're on stage is fine. Off stage is a little different.
All right, so to everybody who's still watching, thanks very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you all.
Absolutely.
Heartsies. Oh, I never mind. That didn't happen. You guys have a good night. Thank you.